Brian Jaffe of Chicago, Illinois says via email, "Hi, Lab team. I've just been catching up on the podcast and love the content. This morning I was listening to episode 37, taking it back, Lurch.
Way back.
And the discussion around group riding and rider proficiency in your club. As someone who is new to riding, I was wondering if you guys have or would in the future done an episode around how a new rider can build their proficiency, tips for how to explore the various aspects of the motorcycle community, and what might draw a rider to the different types of riding clubs or motorcycle clubs. I'm excited to begin riding later this summer after taking the MSF course, but I'm also a bit intimidated in terms of how to find other riders to ride with, especially those that will be more forgiving of a new rider with developing skills. Thanks for reading this note, and I love the podcast. Thank you, Brian Jaffe. lawabidingbiker.com/contact is how he got a hold of us. We appreciate it. And with that said, that is exactly mostly what this episode is going to be about, guys. Although we're going to skip the club stuff for the most part. We're going to dial in. We've got special guest here in the studio, and we're going to dive in more to the riding and safety aspect of that question, because otherwise it would go way too long. Hey, Bikeaholics, 03D has a wide variety of innovative products for your Harley-Davidson and a brand new line for your Honda Goldwing named Gold Strike.
I love gold.
Gold member, it's the gold. Affordable chrome lighting and comfort products and a CAN bus made simple system. Plug and play, guys. Lighting. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store. Check out our full line of 03D products.
Gold Strike.
I like the gold. Oh, let's do this. Let's just get it started. That's right. Great movie, Gold Member, dude. There's so many good lines from that movie. I don't remember them all, dude. Welcome back.
You freaking bikeaholics.
That's right. That's right. Welcome back, you freaking bikeaholics. This is the podcast for the motorcycle majority, the big MM, also known as the
99%ers.
He struggled for a second there, Bob, but you pulled it out.
Hey.
Straight up, dude. Straight up. That's right. Large and in charge of the motorcycle scene more than any time in history. That's right. We're here to make the law-abiding biker community great again.
It's going to be great. It's going to be huge. It's going to be tremendous. It's going to be the best podcast that's ever podcasted.
That's right. We got one thing to ask you before we get started. What are you waiting for, Bikeaholics?
Mount up and let us take you on another wild-ass ride.
Nicely done in stereo with Bob over there. That's right. Ryan Erlacher here, your host of the Law-Abiding Biker Podcast, and your
high-tech redneck.
And your
high-tech redneck.
There you go.
Okay, well, we got to edit that or do
No, that's going to stay in.
We just leave it as is.
It's even better because everybody's going, high-tech redneck. What's going on? He's the high-tech redneck.
That's right.
And the funny thing is, Bob, this is his second time on the microphone, but there's guys that have been in here multiple times, and we try to throw it over to them, and they don't know what to do. So you're in good company. Don't even worry about it. We're going to let it roll.
I didn't know if I was to say Fat Ryan.
Nice, dude. He remembers Fat Ryan, dude. Just watch the old YouTube videos. Straight up Fat Ryan. No doubt about it, dude. Oh, that's hilarious. Good. We got Bob Dawson, who's a patron member, did a live episode. You guys may have heard him on when we did the live episode. This is recorded podcast only on this one at some point when you get them, because we batch process, of course. But Bob in the studio, and you heard up front, Lurch, we didn't do live, but we should probably do it. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't call me on it, dude. You didn't call me on it. Ready? Because Bob needs that experience live. I mean, here in the studio, because it's different when you hear it.
Yeah.
Straight up. We don't have a song for Bob. We'll figure something out.
Something
dude.
Cherry pop.
Okay.
Pithy.
Right there. Cherry's been popped, dude.
She's my cherry pie.
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
Why don't you look at that while you're You can pull that up while you're. Wait, what the? Who?
What are you talking about, dude?
Look that up on.
Oh yeah,
I'm chattering while I'm talking.
Anyways, this episode is going to be what we did up front with the email, and we appreciate that email. Is Bob came up with this? Bob Dawson, patron member, in the seat right here, guys. Of course, like I said, did the live episode, but he's here. He came up with this topic, and the funny thing is, it's actually an episode I wanted to do for a long time. It's in our notes. If you look at our workflow, which we use, it's been in there for a long time. I just never, and that's how episodes go. I never had the time to really dial out. I've been making notes for years of things I see as a police motorcycle officer.
Awesome.
You know,
that's what I want to.
Yeah.
I want to draw upon your experiences of staying alive in the mean streets. Crisscrossing back and forth across this city, approximately 100 miles a day. And staying alive is pretty important. It's
super important to my family, my wife. Yes. And it was a great topic. And so it forced me to actually sit down this week. And when you got the email and when I asked, I was texting you and I said, okay, it's time to do it. I put a lot of thought into it.
Awesome.
So there you go.
What you got? I was trying to pull it up. You got it. All right.
Right here, because we're popping Bob's cherry. It's cherry pie. Second episode.
There might be a drip of blood on this chair. But I did wear red underwear for the episode.
Hey,
she's my cherry pie. Where's the first place you were when you heard this song, Ryan Erlacher?
Probably at the water towers up on Scenic Drive, getting laid.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
How about you, Bob?
Watching Ryan up at the water tower.
This is still a very popular strip club song. I've been told that they played this at strip clubs. I've never been to such an establishment, but I hear they play this there still.
Right, yeah, I hear that too, dude. Straight up big classic song. Hey, trivia, who sings this song?
Warrant.
Nice, dude. Oh, you already pulled it up on your phone.
I already knew.
Oh, bullshit. You were going to play it off like you're all smart.
No. I love these. I love, not these guys, but I love this music in the late 80s, early 90s. I was totally into the hair bands and the butt rock. I was all about it. Because we get off track here, Bob, as you've learned on your second episode.
Yes.
Or actually, just by being a listener and a patron member.
White Snake. I mean, all those.
Here's another one.
Bullet Boys.
Here's another cherry pie, but I don't know what this one is. Let's see if we Let's see. This is from I've never heard this one.
No way.
The artist is Cherry Pie.
No, it's not.
Going to make you sweat, but they're copying CNC Music Factory.
As I say, yeah.
I know that's CNC Music. Yeah, Bob, look at it. It's just a redo, but the artist is Cherry Pie, classic party music.
There must be a little bit of a version. It's not quite the same. It's a total ripoff.
It is a ripoff, dude. Jump to the rhythm, Lurch. Bob, jump to the rhythm. He's doing the hands. Oh, yeah. Dude, straight up. Okay. We get so off track here, Bob.
Okay, yeah.
Isn't this fun? Isn't it fun when you do shit like that?
Yeah. I love it.
As a listener, do you mind when we do stuff like that?
No, it cracks me up.
Do you think it's funny?
That's part of my attraction to what you guys have got going on. Is it's fucking funny.
Is we just have fun.
Yeah.
And we just sometimes I think I do stuff like that and I'm like, people are probably like, would you guys get to motorcycle shit?
Because they've heard that song before. They're laughing. You
got to.
I think it takes you back to where you were the first time you heard it, right?
Exactly. And it's a little bit corny, but it's really damn funny.
Good. Glad to hear it. We've had a lot of that feedback. Hey, we love it when you guys get off track and start bullshitting.
Or you do stuff like that, music trivia or things that piss me off. I try to throw, you never know what we're going to do here. Keeps the listeners engaged the way I see it. You know what I'm saying? You never know what we're going to do. We are going to do all about safety today. I've already mentioned it now that we are going to get back on track here. So let's mention this. Lurch, you want to talk about this? Or actually, should I talk about this?
Go ahead.
All right. Probably because it's the video. You weren't involved with
I was not involved with it. I understand it, but I was not involved.
Yeah, so I did this one on my own.
Oh, really?
I filmed this myself.
Went rogue.
You are much more talented than I ever thought you were.
That's how I started this thing. I never had people helping me film. Most of the stuff I filmed, changing tires and all that, was by myself, Fat Ryan, back in the day. I had my own video camera set up, and I just lucky I have people to help me now. But I still, every once in a while.
Or you had your daughters out there helping you. They still do.
They still do. Mm-hmm. I still do a lot of stuff here and there when I have to get stuff done by myself.
Reviews and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. New free video, how to flash your Harley-Davidson Boombox wireless headset interface module, which is called the WIM with Digital Technician. So I will put it in the show notes, lawabidingbiker.com/whatever show number this is how you always get the notes. It's been out for a little while. Literally, I kid you not, Bob, dealerships use this video. Now, dealerships have the actual digital technician software. They're the only ones that have it, but they literally, throughout the nation, don't know how to properly flash. Once you put the WIM on, which is to allow you to have Bluetooth headset connectivity directly to your boombox, you have to add this WIM module and pay the Hardy tax. I've done a lot of stuff on the website and YouTube channel about this, but I went to our dealership and I actually filmed it. Exactly how you need to get into digital technician at the Harley dealership and what boxes you need to tick to make sure that the WIM is properly configured for your boombox, because you do need to flash it. And I've literally got emails from around the world, in fact, recently from Australia, where the people are taking our video into the dealership and saying, this is how you need to do it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Teaching them how to do it.
Correct. Now, that's not a put down on dealerships. I've said it before. It's literally because Harley does not give their dealerships all the information that they need. They bring out the products and they don't educate their dealerships. And so the dealerships are pretty humble about it, most of them, and they're more than glad that they brought our video in to show their own software and how to use it and which boxes to tick. So
right on.
Free video for you guys on the WIM. And of course, we also have the free install of the WIM, should that be something that you want to do. Have you put the WIM on your...
Absolutely not.
You're not paying the Hardy tax.
I wouldn't even consider it.
Nice.
I get out on my bike and I'm trying to forget about everything.
See?
It's just relaxation, or, most of the time, or laying down some hard miles. I got a lot of voices in my head. I don't.
Me too. So welcome to the club.
Right.
Welcome to the club. And that's an interesting thing, not to get, we are going to get off topic. Damn right.
We
already are. So that's an interesting topic, because we get a lot of emails or YouTube comments about that, what you just said. And although I agree totally, some guys are just really hard. They get on there, and when we do these WIM videos or we do headset videos, they're like, when I fucking ride, it's all about me and riding. Who wants technology?
The sound of my exhaust is my music.
And I agree. And that's a hardcore stance sometimes.
I don't disagree either.
Right. I don't disagree. I can tell you, when we went on our recent, very long Midwest trip, 10 days, a ton of thousands and thousands of miles, I will tell you that there are days I don't listen to shit. I just want to hear the voices in my head.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I will tell you that there's other times when you're riding 800-mile days where I need to stay awake and I'll listen to a podcast or I'll listen to music, or most importantly, I call in and check in on my family.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? Although
cool.
I agree, I just wanted, I wanted to take that track because you brought up, and that's good. I agree. Sometimes I just want to hear nothing, but there are other times, and you can do that without the WIM, not even staying on the WIM topic. You can do that directly from phone to headset or however you do that. But there are times, I'm telling you, some music on straight fucking roads in New Mexico at 107 degrees, it's pretty nice to have a little bit of entertainment now and then. A little
distraction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I didn't put the WIM on my bike until I finally got a really quality full face helmet, because I was a half helmet guy for years. I've got the stage 2 boom on my bike, and it's loud as hell, and I can go down the road with it cranked up, and I didn't need the WIM until I got a full face helmet where I could put the WIM in there, like you said, with the speakers and the microphone, and have a conversation with my wife on a long trip when we're gone for 10 days. And I don't want to burn time. I
don't want to burn time at the hotel.
Yeah.
We get in late. We're up really early. It's not conducive to my family's schedule.
I also don't want to burn my brotherhood time, right? It's a perfect opportunity where I'm on the bike. I could have a conversation with the wife and check in with her. But also, we've talked about it, half helmet versus full helmet. But on long trips, a full-faced helmet with those speakers in there at a lower volume, you're not blowing out your ears with the wind and the speaker that are in the fairing, but you're also not taking the wind in.
Right.
So this is more for long trips, hours on hours. It's nicer to have that full-face helmet with those speakers in there at a lower volume, just for rider fatigue. So
that's important. Rider fatigue is something that we've constantly got to be on top of, because there's no, you're riding or you're skidding on the pavement. So making things more comfortable for you. distracting you, keeping you awake. Communication. Exactly. I don't know. Do you guys communicate with each other?
We do more.
We're starting to
now
more
when
recently.
we're doing videos, especially. It's been very handy in our videoing.
Even on the Midwest trip, several of us had Sennas, and we're starting to do more of that. It's safer.
Because when you're riding down the road and I'm in the lead position and I turn on my blinker and I start turning and everybody is like slamming on their brakes, like, what the hell is he doing? It's
accordion effect.
It would be a lot safer if I could say, hey guys, turn's coming up.
Yeah. The nice thing is too,
wake up.
When you're in a group, we do it as Leo motor officers a lot, is we can take a lane, so what we'll tell is the back guys, hey, as soon as that gray car in the left lane gets past us all,
take the lane.
Go ahead and take the lane. The rear guys will take the lane and block it for everybody else to move over at the same time. So it's cool, for stuff like that to keep the group together.
That's cool. And when you ride with the same group of guys all the time, like I used to ride with 2 guys exclusively, and we got to know each other and how to do all that stuff with just because we had done it so much.
Right. You just feel each other.
Correct. It's
not in a bad way. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
What are you talking about? Why do you got to make it weird, man?
I'm just saying. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Bob, why does he got to make it weird?
He's always going there, huh? Anywho, that's if you could communicate between your riders when you're heading down the road and it's 110 degrees and everyone's hot and tired and miserable. And not paying attention,
and tired because we're getting 5 hours of sleep a night.
Being able to
days.
Communication would be key in that area.
I like to have the options. If I have a half helmet on a short ride, I'll crank up my stage 2. If we're going for days and hours, I'll take the full face and have the WIM. But you definitely pay the Harley tax, no doubt about it. It's not cheap.
You can do it with the free wire.
And that's a big. There's other options like
the free wire in our store, which is way cheaper. But
yeah. I was probably one of the last ones in our group that was interested in doing it that did it, and it was mostly cost for me and whether or not I was really going to use it. Now I'm happy I have it because we're doing our filming. Like today, Ryan and I were doing some filming, and we can talk back and forth on the intercom.
When I'm moving them around and with
you can say,
filming and video cameras,
back,
and we're
get
going
your
down
brakes,
the road.
and it makes us so much more efficient in that aspect anyways.
Yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely. All right, real quick, and then we'll get into our main topic. Harley-Davidson said it's recalling about 238,000 motorcycles worldwide for a clutch problem, the 4th recall for a clutch issue in 5 years. I will tell you this affects my police bike, guys. Don't get too concerned about this recall. You'll know if you need it because you can get it done regardless, but you'll know because your clutch won't disengage. So we've had only one of our police bikes do that out of our fleet of 7. It's kind of hit and miss, but they'll replace all of them because it is a possible problem. But the voluntary safety recall includes all model years 2017 and 2018 touring, trike, and CVO touring models, as well as some 2017 Softails. Hardy says the recall will cost about $35 million in the current fiscal quarter. We, along with our dealers, are committed to address this issue. The safety of our riders is of the highest priority, Chief Financial Officer John Olin said during a conference call with Analysis. So basically, we got other content on this episode, but check your bike, guys. Get it in. Hardy's starting to get the kits in. Basically what it is I made some notes here because I was in the dealership. I actually took some video of it, but I doubt that I will do a video on that particular thing. Let's see. So it's the Harley, basically it's the slave cylinder piston per my service rider up there who I'm friends with. Slave cylinder piston. It's leaking around one of the gaskets, guys. They finally figured this out. They didn't know on our police bike when we took it in, one of our police bikes, my guys, they didn't know exactly what it is. And it wasn't a recall at that time. And they put a new parts in it, trying to figure it out. And they finally linked it to this once the recall came out. So they just have replacement kits. It's super simple. They probably have to pop your exhaust a little bit, pop the side transmission cover. That's where it's all going to be done. Like I say, loosen your exhaust a little bit so they can get in there and they replace that.
Pop your what?
Transmission cover. Cherry, yes. Pop that. All right. So get that recall done, guys. You'll know, like I say, it's affecting not all the bikes, which is weird. So it must be some kind of manufacturing flaw. Again, all motorcycles have recalls. Yes, BMW has recalls. Yes, Kawasaki has recalls. Some people like to comment that. That's Harley for you now.
Cars have the same problem.
Shit happens in manufacturing, and just go in and get it fixed, get it taken care of. All right, so we have a patron member, right here with us, Bob Dawson. The Bob Dawson Esquire.
Yes.
Does that sound official?
No.
I don't even know what Esquire is, but go ahead. Do you want to thank these patrons?
Wesley Tanner of Camden, South Carolina. He's a top tier member. Ed Fox of Shamong, New Jersey. Where in the heck did this? Anyhow, Stephen Janes of Mercersburg, Pennsylvania. I murdered that.
Mercersburg, Pennsylvania. Biker.com/Patreon, Patreon. That's right. Pledge a certain amount of previous content. No risk to you, Bob, because you can put a monthly cap. That's right. You can get access to, you get t-shirts and stickers. You can get access to the private Facebook group and watch our live video broadcast and live private chat. That's right. Up to access to our premium tutorial videos upon request.
Love the private Facebook page.
You having fun in there? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're involved in there. I like it too.
Yeah, that's cool.
So much knowledge and smartness in there, isn't there?
A lot of bullshit too.
A lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
That's cool.
But there's a lot of, like, some of those guys are so smart in there.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I love there's guys on there that take pictures and tell what they're doing, and that's really helpful too. Even though I may or may not be digging that
doing
far
that right now
into my engine, I can always, take that knowledge and hopefully not have to use it in the future. But
right. And if you do need to use it in the future, a lot of people forget that is
it's like a forum, but better.
It is a forum. People don't realize that about Facebook groups is you can go in, and when you get in the private Facebook group, you can search any topic
all
you
the way
want
back to the beginning,
and it will come up with threads. So I've actually searched.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So if you ever have to rebuild a motor, or you're doing pistons, or you're doing like Mark Arnold's doing up north in Canada, one of our patrons, where he's doing
and
that
sharing all that info. So awesome.
Dude,
yeah.
You can go in and search that, and you'll come up with
Very
every
thorough.
thread and every comment. So remember that, guys. If you're in the private Facebook group, that is a forum, guys. It's better than any forum because it's troll-free zone. It's a troll-free zone, and it's monitored, and there's only paying patron members in there that want to help each other. There's not no crap heads in there, basically. And you literally can search the last 5. We've done this 6 years, but I don't think we got patron going up for the first year and a half. So 4.5, 5 years of content. Search tires, search spark plugs, search this. There's been tons and pictures and all kinds of stuff in there. Enough said about that.
Fun fact, Esquire, at the end of...
I said Esquire because it sounds official, but I don't actually know what it means.
It means
I'm an idiot.
It means either you're an attorney or a consular officer.
There you go. Bob is a consular officer.
Generally an attorney. So if you were an attorney, it could be Ryan Erlacher Esquire. You're an attorney.
If I was an attorney, I could charge people for waking up at 3:00 in the morning concerned about paint problems.
Oh,
yes, you can
exactly.
consult them. You can consult
Correct.
them.
Yeah,
and you could tell
consultation fee. Yeah,
and you could tell them this on the phone. You will address me as Bob Dawson Esquire, mofo. Esquire,
knucklehead or whatever the heck
jackwagon.
Jackwagon.
Yeah.
This is Ryan Erlacher.
Jackwagon.
Address me as Jackwagon, please.
J-Dub. Ryan Erlacher. J-Dub.
J-Dub, dude, straight up. All right, let's get into our main content because we've got this coming at you. This is going to be intense. I got a lot of information for you guys. The guys in here have a lot of questions and information. This is going to be all about, like we said, safety, being just a regular rider or a law-abiding biker rider out there riding cross-country, guys. Of course, gives me a lot of experience, gives these guys a lot of experience. Bob's been riding motorcycles since he's been a kid. Lurch, same, been riding motorcycles for a very long, long time. We all have our different experiences. I also bring into it my LEO, my law enforcement officer, motorcycle officer stuff, which that's my current full-time gig.
And probably put
Actually,
you in some unique
this is more
situations.
full-time. That's my other, it's full-time, but this is, yeah, right.
That's your real job.
That's my real job, yeah.
You have 2 full jobs.
That's the one that feeds the family.
This one you
Right.
probably put more time into.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
So that's kind of your part-time, but it's your full-time.
Correct. And feeds the family.
But that definitely puts you in situations that maybe the rest of us don't get into as often. Right. So you have a unique perspective.
Yes. And like Bob, we were talking pre-podcast here, although it was recorded. And a
lot of riding in a city atmosphere.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Which can be much more dangerous at times.
Oh my
right?
God.
Right.
Exponentially more dangerous in my opinion.
I'd rather ride on the freeway anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. You got a lot more traffic signals, cross traffic.
Yeah. That's where bikers die and get hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
And funny enough, at lower speeds, right? You're 35
Correct.
miles an hour, but when you hit somebody in their door at 35 miles an hour, you're going from 35 to 0
or they rear end you at 35 and you're stopped still.
And a change of velocity of about 35, from what I remember from traffic investigation, is a change of velocity of about 35 miles an hour will kill you. It'll rip your aorta out of your heart.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, internal.
So if you T-bone somebody and you're going 35 and they're going across the intersection and you hit them, you could potentially rip the aorta right out of your heart.
Nicely. I mean, it's a nice recollection.
It's not nice, but it's truth.
I guess I was saying nice recollection of physics.
Oh, thank you.
Right, yeah. Well, I guess that's physics.
I paid attention in construction
that day. Accident reconstruction.
Accident reconstruction. Thank you.
Yeah. Tech boy. Okay. So,
I think that was basic collision investigation.
It might have been.
You were napping.
I was napping because exactly. That's what I do now. How absurd. So riding every day. And I told Bob this, my main thing is as a motors officer, riding all day, 9 hours a day, every day, on my Harley, in different situations and running code, lights and siren and getting around things and all that kind of stuff. It is my focus is to stay alive every day. And I truly mean that. And I have to take that very seriously. And I've come up with a lot of tips, tricks, and techniques that help keep me alive, help keep me safe. And I told Bob, and I kid you not, because I'm a God-fearing man, I do literally have a very specific prayer that I say as I ride out the driveway every day, that I say to keep me safe, because there's a lot of risks in what I do as a Leo Motors officer, not only just as a police officer, obviously, but that kind of is why they give us hazard pay. We get paid a bit more.
You don't get paid enough.
It's not a lot of hazard pay. It's like 3% or something. But nonetheless, they do give you a little extra just because. In law enforcement in general, we've talked about this in the past. There's more motorcycle officers that die than other police officers. It's a exponential amount. They have statistics. Just because
traffic related,
not traffic related, not from getting shot, but from getting killed riding a motorcycle. Go ahead.
Every time I get on my motorcycle, I pray for traction, man.
You need the traction.
It's all about traction.
Is that all? Here's Bob's prayer. Good Lord, give me traction.
Give me traction, man.
Just straight up, dude. Just give me traction.
That's all I need.
I hear like a Rolling Stones kind of sound in the background.
Is that what you're hearing?
Give me traction.
Nice, dude.
Instead of give me shelter, give me traction.
Give me traction. I like it.
Or the jerk where he says, "Oh, that's all I need is traction and a phone book and my glasses,
right? Yeah.
And this thermos."
The jerk, dude. Great. You're dating us. You know that.
Yeah, that might have been before I was born.
No, I saw The Jerk. My parents watched The Jerk, and I saw The Jerk. Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
All right, he hates those oil cans.
Let's dive in, and you go ahead and, like I said, you guys jump in anytime you want. So I've got some really specific things, and I know Bob has experience too, and Matt. So please, guys, if you want to ask questions, you want to elaborate on something, let's start with number one.
The biggest mistake most riders make.
Do
you think it's the biggest mistake? Or
I do.
I do too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm looking up the notes up there, and
I think that that's how my brain was working.
Yeah, this is probably the biggest mistake most riders make. I've seen people do it.
Cagers in general, same thing.
Everybody in general, but riders,
you die if you're a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Because in a cage, if you rear end somebody, you probably have a chance of surviving and not being seriously injured, depending on the speeds on a motorcycle. You can't do this shit.
There's no airbag on my Harley
or seatbelt. You're done.
Right.
And if you go down, you have a high likelihood of being ran over by people behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, speed bump.
Following too close. That's it, guys. I'm telling you, I see it all the time. I see it from experienced riders.
Hey, wait a minute, Ryan. My bike could stop faster than that car.
That's not a fact, Matt. It's not going to happen.
No. It's smaller. It's lighter. First of all, I'm super quick.
You said lighter.
Yeah.
Which is a problem.
Wait a minute. But I'm super quick. And it's smaller. It's lighter. I can stop faster than that car.
Yeah. It's not going to happen, Lurch. It's not going to happen.
So tell me why.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. It's not going to. We could get into all kinds of, reaction time and stopping distance and all that kind of stuff, guys. And a motorcycle, he said it as lighter. So obviously it's not going to stop as quick as a car. It's just not. We have ABS, we have link systems and all that kind of stuff. But nonetheless, following too close, guys, you got to give distance. I see it all the time. I see it from experienced riders. I see it from even other instructors, and it drives me nuts because we all have this confidence. That's human nature, to have this confidence to feel like we can stop. Everything that we're going to talk about from here on out, a lot of it will link to following too close, because if you add the distance that you need, everything else that we're going to talk about, emergency braking and so on, if you can combine several of these things to make yourself safer into one, it gives you, the more things you combine, what we're going to tell you here, the more cushion it's going to give you, the more room for mistakes and reaction time and all that. So if the one thing you get out of this, guys, back the frick off.
Exactly.
There is absolutely no reason you need to follow so close. Give yourself room for yourself. Give yourself room for the following motorists. The slower the movements you can make, you'll learn on a motorcycle, the slower movements you can make, the more time it gives everybody around you and behind you. And this will make a lot more sense as we go through here. I'm not going to give you a 2-second or 3-second rule. Just back off. Honestly, the more you give yourself, the better. So I don't really like to do a second rule. Just give yourself some frickin' distance. So if you have to jam your brakes, the guy behind you has time and the guy behind him has time, and so on down the line. I see guys do this all the time. It drives me nuts. And I'm very cognizant about my following distance. And like I say, we'll get a little bit more into this. It'll make more sense. Anything piggyback off that before we move on?
Well, it just gives you more time to react, and it all depends on road conditions, how you're feeling, what's going on, how heavy the traffic is. You have escape routes,
Very good. Escape routes are very,
I'm always
and
looking.
that's adding to the following. So now you've got yourself an escape route,
Always.
and you've got yourself extra following distance, right?
Yep.
So now you've added 2 more cushions to yourself.
Yep.
And that's what I'm talking about this process of giving yourself all the extra tools. And now on top of it, which we're going to talk about, you're flashing your brakes. So now you've got an escape route, you've got following distance, and have time to tap your brakes to get those motorists behind you before you
wake up.
Right. And so now you're compounding 3 things. You put all these things together and you can survive out there.
I tap my brakes all the time, and I've got the strobe modulator on back, and I think that is really visible from what I've heard from people in cages behind me, that kind of shook them out of their stupor or whatever you want to call it when you're just driving blind down the road trying to get to your job or trying to get to the grocery store,
right?
Whatever. It wakes them up.
Yep. A lot of the LED products that we're pushing from Zero in our store and all that kind of stuff, guys, that's exactly what we're talking about. It's not just for looks and for fun. It's literally, it'll save your life.
Being seen from behind is super important.
Yep. Rear end. You just don't get a second chance when you get rear end, usually, guys. If you do,
it's not pretty.
You're going to be maimed. So, all right. So we'll piggyback off some of this stuff. Let's keep moving. So following too close, just give yourself some damn room. Who cares if somebody cuts in front of you? Back off even more. And we all
you've got to do it.
You got to do what's right. And I know we get pissed. We're humans, and you're like, you want to fall too close because every traffic's backed up and you don't want that guy to get in front of you, by God. But it doesn't matter if you're dead or injured and you can't ride anymore. I back off, let a guy cut in front of me, even when I'm not on my police bike, whatever. People say, well, you're on a police bike. When I'm riding my normal bike, I just let him cut in front, and then I back off even a little more. And then if another person comes in front of me, I back off even more. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I don't want to be paralyzed and I don't want to be dead. You just have to not get aggressive and the typical road rage type. We all have it. We're human nature. We're like, oh, that guy came all the way up in the left lane and now he thinks he's just going to cut in. Let him. I know it's hard. I get it. I'm human too. Hey. Let him cut in. Get back. It's not worth it. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and depends on the type of motorcycle you have too. I mean, it can be even worse if you do not have ABS or linked brakes.
Oh, yeah.
Because your natural reaction when there's that oh shit moment is to clamp both the front and the rear brakes. And any vehicle, whether it's a motorcycle or a car, 70% of the braking is done on that front wheel.
Yep.
Because all the momentum and weight is thrown
Should
forward.
be if you're doing it right.
Exactly. Right. So if you have a bike that does not have linked, it does not have ABS. You and I watched this when we were going over to Seattle one day. We were going through the tunnel. Remember that guy?
Totally.
He was falling too close.
Straight up
He clamped clamped both brakes, and then he tried to turn.
He's on a Beamer.
So he did not have ABS. He did not have link brakes. So he clamped both brakes, and then he tried to turn because at the last minute he knew that he was going to rear into the car in front of him.
Yep.
So he tried to turn, and once you turn that wheel, down you go. You're gonna go down. So give the appropriate distance, back off, because on a motorcycle you don't have a second chance. If you go down, you're most likely going to get ran over by the people behind you. And in that rush hour traffic, I don't know how that dude didn't get ran over. It's crazy
because his bike slid to the shoulder.
By the grace of God.
Yep.
They dodged his butt.
We dodged him.
We dodged him too, his
and
body.
then
we went and threw our 4-ways on, helped him get his bike and him out of the road. But I'm just saying, you got to be careful, because on a bike you can lose control of your front wheel, and you can put that thing on the ground.
Nice cleanup there. Good. Emergency braking. So now you shouldn't have to emergency brake a lot if you're not following too close, except when people pull out in front of you, which we'll talk about. But again, this is a compounding safety thing, guys. If I want to get one thing, it's compounding. It's putting as many of the things that we're talking about into your basket, so to speak, into your toolbox, and putting them all together. One leads to the other, and so on. So emergency braking, you must practice your emergency braking, guys. And I've got some drills for you, and I know Bob asked this, some things that you can do to warm up. As police motors officers, we practice a lot of stuff. We practice a lot of, high speed track. We do low speed. We do cone technical courses. I will tell you that as a motors instructor, when I train my unit, this is the one thing that I am implementing since I've taken over training, is you can do all that stuff, and that's great and it's good. But the one thing, if I can give you one thing that will save your life out on the road, is learning how to properly emergency threshold brake. And it's a super easy drill to set up. The reason is, we all know Bob is, the motorist that pulls out in front of us, right? It's going to happen, guys. It happens to me all the time. And of course, when it happens on my Leo bike, red and blue lights go on.
Thank you.
And NOI whoop, 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 is usually issued an infraction for that.
Or a lesson.
Or a lesson. Exactly. Yeah. So, this is the thing, guys. You have to. And if you think you know how to do that and you've never practiced it, you don't really know how to do it. Okay. Even us doing it monthly, I try to get my guys out and do this drill because it's super easy to set up, and it's the one thing. Even if you hit a car, okay, here's what I tell my guys. The more we can do, even if you're going to hit, there's just some circumstances where you're fucked, right? Okay, I get that. We can't control everything. If we're doing all these things, we have a really highly likelihood of avoiding them. But say you do have to emergency brake, the more speed, the quicker you can dump, the less the physical impact, which results in you walking away.
That's right.
Okay?
Agreed.
Even if you hit, the more speed you can dump more rapidly. So you have to practice this drill. So it's a really easy one to set up. We have some really specific things that I do, my guys, and that's why I do this with my guys, because like I said, the cone drills and all that, they're being technical is great and high speed, but this is the one thing. The accidents that I even investigate with motorcycles, most of them are because somebody pulled out in front of them. I have had a few rear ends lately. And that had to do, I won't say exactly what it had to do with, but maybe following too close, stopping too quick. They still shouldn't have been rear-ended, but nonetheless, they didn't give themselves enough leadway, like we just talked about. Okay, so here's the drill, guys. If you want to set this up, you just need a parking lot. Grab your church parking lot, whatever it is. You need very few cones. You can use tennis balls cut in half because it's not really about hitting cones. You just need a mark to start and a mark to stop. All right. And so it's called the 40 mile per hour threshold braking drill is what it is. And so you're going to start, you can start at 20, then you can work up to 30 and then 40. So you enter it. And I believe, I don't have it in here, but I'm almost positive. You can look it up online. I'll try to put it in the show notes, but I believe I did it at do it at 65 for the general rider. I bump it down to 61 for my guys, but 61 feet basically. So you go in, set up a couple cones that your foot is on the floorboard. Okay. And you don't need that big, a big parking lot. You just need more time to get speed. Okay. You just make a box basically. And, so when you hit those first cones, all right, your hand is on the throttle. You're not covering your clutch. You're not covering your brake. You're riding down. Okay. And say we work our way up to 40 miles an hour. And, Your feet are on the floorboard. You're not covering your rear brake. No bullshit. Okay. It's like you were riding and all of a sudden shit happened and you need to dump speed. When you hit those first cones and you got 65 feet or 61 feet, well, you can set it up. Just practice it. There's a lot of stuff online that you can figure this out, but I think it was 61 feet. That's pushing it. When you hit that, you got to come in at 40. Of course, we have lasers to make sure our guys are coming at 40. You're practicing by yourself, so just don't cheat yourself. Be honest. And come in right at that 40. When you hit that first cone, it's let off the throttle, it's grab clutch, it's back brake, right? And front brake. And let me tell you, it should be violent. You'd be surprised how much harder you can grab. If you don't have ABS, be really careful with this, guys. We used to not have ABS.
Slide for life.
Slide for life. We'll talk about that.
That's what they used to call it.
Learn how to threshold brake, especially if you don't have ABS. That 70-30, 70 front, 30 rear. You don't want to lock up if you don't have ABS. With ABS, it's a little bit more forgiving, but even with ABS, if you don't lock up, you'll stop quicker. Once you start ABS.
That is a violent, unexpected move. The first time my ABS kicked in when I was doing a practice drill in a church parking lot, I thought something broke on my bike.
Right. It sounds like clunk, clunk, clunk. Yeah.
I was holding on and I put the kickstand down and went, well, it worked out pretty good. I stopped really fast.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know how many guys haven't tested that?
Oh.
They don't know that. And so good for you.
You've got to do that.
Good for you for going out and testing that, knowing what it feels like and sounds like.
Oh, all the time, man.
Good for you. Good for you. So, so grab front, grab back. If you got the link system, you're golden, but you'll still learn how to minimize your stopping distance. Even at first, you might blow the back side of the cones, and that's okay. Or the tennis balls, whatever you use, that's okay. You'll realize that you can get right before ABS and do really good. And you might feel the ABS kick in and then you'll let up a little bit to get out of the ABS a little bit. Just play with that. You just have to feel it. I can't tell you that like Bob said, you just have to feel that and experience it.
You've got to experience it, and not just once.
Correct.
It's not going to hurt your bike. Your bike was designed to do that.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you. Because guys worry about this shit. I'm like, it's a freaking made to do that. Brake pads are cheap, for God's sakes. Are you serious? This is your life you're talking about, you know?
You want to work that part.
Right.
Because if you don't work that part, it's not being worked, and it's going to, maybe it gets gummed up. Maybe you get water in your brake fluid and something goes wrong there.
And you need to know how it feels when you're into it.
Exactly. Yep. That's the main thing, is it's feeling.
Yep.
And it's repetition.
It is repetition. And you'll get better and better at it.
It's a lost skill. You've got to do it.
Diminishing skill. Absolutely. Well said, Bob.
Yep. You've got to do these things. I try to do it at least once a week during the riding season.
Nice.
This time of year,
well, you're not riding as much winter.
Not riding as much, and it's cold.
Yep.
And if you practice it, you know what it feels like, and you can actually steer through a full ABS brake.
That's the beauty about ABS, right?
Yeah. If you've done it, if you know how to do it, you realize, I can steer through this thing.
Yep.
I've never tried that.
I did it. The first time I did it was by pure accident. I was riding, I think I was third in a group of 4 guys, heading over Conowalk Pass, going to Law Dog's house. And I was expecting that we were going to take this curve to the right, but Ryan and Law Dog were in the front, and they hit their brakes and they went left. My fault, not theirs at all. I just didn't realize I had always taken a different route to get back into Moxie going over Conowalk Pass. So they hit their brakes, and all of a sudden went, oh crap. And I hit mine, and I was at full lockup, but then I realized I think I could steer. And I was able to go right through able to make a left-hand turn with full lockup with ABS going, if that makes sense.
You can, to a certain extent.
It's hard. I had to really push hard.
Depending on how much of a lean you're in. Yeah. Not something you want to do.
No, you really don't. But what I'm saying is you should practice that to realize what it feels like and what you can do.
Right.
When you're in full lockup under ABS.
Yep. Escaping.
Yes.
Escaping whatever the hell's going on.
And that's pretty much what I did. I locked up and then I escaped-ish. And I went to the left.
Yeah. Good call, Bob.
Yep.
Matt. Good. Yeah, I like that. Real life experience type stuff. So, yeah. The other thing, part of this drill is, so the immediate thing you guys should do when you're doing this is, and what we watch for is when you hit that first cone, you should immediately, and you fail if I don't see you do it. And that you need to look in your mirrors immediately. Okay.
Because see what's coming up behind you.
When you are in an emergency situation, you better be freaking very aware of that you're stopping quick and what is behind you. And the other reason you're looking behind you is because as you're emergency braking, you're looking for an escape route. This all happens really quick, and this has to be practiced. And you will get good at it. I guarantee it. You're looking in those mirrors. The other thing I tell guys you really need to do if you're going to go out and do this after listening to this podcast is you're going into the cones. You immediately want to, every time before I emergency brake, I just do it naturally now because I've done it so much, is when I know I have to stop quick, even if it's not that quick, you lock your arms into the bars, you sit up straight. And the reason you lock your arms into your bars is because you're going to have all that force of stopping quick and it's going to try to push you forward. So lock those arms out, clutch in, rear brake, front brake, and you're looking in your mirrors, you're right and left head checking, and you're shifting down at the same time. We look for shifting down, very important.
Because you can't escape if you don't.
Downshifting.
If you're in fifth gear, you ain't escaping shit.
No, you're going to go bleh and kill it.
Exactly. So we come to a complete stop as quick as we can, left foot down. We're looking in our mirrors. And as soon as we get to a complete stop, we put our left, only 1 foot down, guys. Your other foot should be up on the brake. And the reason is that you need to be able to escape quickly. Both feet down is not good. So left foot down. And we look in our mirrors and either choose left or right. If you didn't blow the wall, which is really cool, you'll get better at it. Don't blow the wall. Then you either escape right, it's your choice, or left. So left foot back up on the floorboard, bam, clutch out. You're already in first because as you were emergency braking, you're just slapping that shifter peg down to first. And these are all the things we look at new students, like they have to do all these things. And it's a lot at first. It really is.
It's a lot, but you practice it all the time and it becomes second nature. And it just happened to me like
it'll save your life.
2 weeks ago. A guy pulled in front of me on a one-way street. He came around the corner going the wrong way on a one-way street. I was a little enthusiastic. And I slammed down my brakes, locked up the back tire a little bit. It was a bike without ABS. And at the same time, I was bumping downshift.
Gears.
Yep. Bumping gears, the clutch comes in. I'm trying to remember front brake, but at that time I was already stopped.
Nice, dude. See, so there's a real life experience, and of something that you've actually practiced, and that's exactly the deal. That right there, and you all know. I don't need to say any more about it. You've all been there. You all know it's going to happen. It's going to happen again. It happens on my police bike, for God's sakes. You need to be able to emergency brake. So if there's one drill, if you're not going to do anything else because you're just tired or you're too busy, practice that drill for me. Go out, practice that drill. It's not going to break your bike.
And if you ride two up, do the drill two up.
Exactly. Yeah. Or if you ride two abreast, I make our motors officers, we ride two abreast all the time. We make them do it two abreast because the difference is when you're two abreast,
you can only escape left or escape right.
You can't escape right or left, and you can't F your buddy.
You don't have a choice.
You can't F your buddy. No matter what. Even if you're going to hit, you can't take your buddy out with you. You got to take it. So,
that's cool.
Yeah.
The big part of that is also downshifting. It's one thing just to lock up the brakes and pull in the clutch. You got to downshift.
It is very important.
Because you need to escape later. You may need to escape left. You may need to escape right.
If you're slamming on your brakes, whoever's coming up behind you if they're not awake,
right,
you need to get ready to go. And if you're not in first gear, it ain't happening.
And we talked about that falling too close, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Now you've made an emergency movement, which means the guy behind you in the cage has to make an emergency maneuver because you're slamming your brakes on in front of him.
Exactly.
And there may be nobody behind you, and that's cool. So some of we hold fingers up. Sometimes we'll be standing behind. We'll have another instructor standing behind, and we'll hold up 4 or 2 and go, make sure they were checking their mirrors. How many fingers was he holding up?
Good one.
You don't know. Or some guys use like cardboard with the number 5 just to make sure they're actually looking in their mirrors. What number was it? So we do stuff like that on paper, just to make sure, because some guys will try to cheat it, But it is super important to really pay attention to what's behind you.
It's
brake
key.
and escape.
What's that?
Brake and escape.
Brake and escape.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. Nice. Okay, let's move on. Anything else on that?
No.
Okay, we're just going to move right along. We got so much content. We're doing good, but man.
We have oodles and oodles of information.
Oodles I could go on to. I had to limit this. This is one thing I see daily, and it drives me nuts. And if you're a listener and you do this, please don't take offense to it.
But
just stop doing it. Just stop doing it. Okay. And you'll understand why when I say it. Why in the hell do I see riders running around town? They're following too close, number 1. Number 2, their feet are on the highway pegs in a city environment. That is absolutely a death wish, guys. Here's why. When your feet, the highway pegs are, what's the name of that, Matt? Highway, what are they called? Highway pegs?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
what's the key word in that? Highway.
Highway.
Right.
They don't call them city pegs.
They don't call them city pegs. Thank you. You caught on that. Okay. There's a reason for that, guys. They are for when you're out, like we were in New Mexico, riding hundreds of miles on roads you can see for 7 miles ahead because they're so flat. And you can see whether there's animals and deer and hazards and cross streets and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to worry about any of that shit. And you kick back, you set your cruise control, and you cruise with your feet on the highway pegs. They were not designed in the city. Lurch, we already talked about it, reaction time. Okay. When your feet are up on the highway pegs in the city, you should be riding not, and I don't want to use the word, I don't have a better word. You should be riding a little bit paranoid. Okay.
I am all the time. I'm always,
yes. You should not be relaxed. If you're relaxed, it's a problem.
Right. The head's on a swivel. You're constantly looking for escape routes.
Looking in your mirrors. There's covering your clutch, which we're going to talk about.
There's a lot more danger.
A lot more.
A lot more potential danger from all angles.
Right. And so if your feet, plainly put, if your feet are on the highway pegs, guys, you have substantial more reaction time to get your feet off those highway pegs, to sit upright, to emergency brake, to grab your front brake, to get your foot on that rear brake. You're going to get injured. You're going to die. I'm just saying, do not get relaxed and kick your feet out. You need to be ready at any time. And that includes covering your clutch and your brake as you're approaching intersections, especially if they're blind intersections, which we'll get a little more into.
Every intersection should be treated like a stop.
Absolutely.
Like regardless, we don't know what the hell's going on.
Yep.
You don't know the mindset of the people coming on the side streets.
The drunks, the texters, all the hazards.
Here in the state of Washington, we get these guys that smoke marijuana and then decide it's a great idea to get in their car and go to 7-Eleven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those guys are not paying attention.
Correct. Yep. And they will take you out straight up, guys. So anything else on that? Do you guys get my concern with that? And I don't know why. It's just one of my pet peeves. I'm like, are you freaking serious? And most of them are idiots anyways. And they're following the car at a car length anyways. How the frick are you going to stop with your feet on your highway pegs when you're a car length at 35 miles an hour? Like you're a dead man or you're done.
You ever talk to some of those people?
No, because it's technically not.
You're not.
It's not a violation of like law.
Well, you're a.
I do it.
You're an ambassador.
I guess I do it at events. I'll have casual conversations about safety if people ask me, but not. Yeah, I just see it and I just like.
We should have,
because I don't want people to get hurt. It's not that I'm mad. I'm like, dude, you're going to get hurt, and I'm going to be investigating it. And I don't like seeing. I hate it when I go to collisions and I see bikers dying in the road.
Public service announcement from your employer.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, stuff like that.
Yeah, right. We do some of that. Yep, we do some of that. You bet. But that's so. Yeah, that is a one pet peeve that you need to think about. If you're doing that, hopefully this podcast will help. There you go.
I'm guilty of doing that,
and that's cool.
Occasionally, but
we all get comfortable. But when you think about it, no, you're right.
I don't put my feet clear up on the pegs. I'll have my heel on the floorboard and my toe on the pegs, and my handle's always on the front brake.
Right,
it never comes off,
and that's good. At least you're covering a brake. And no, I appreciate you being honest about that. We all do.
Yeah,
it's like anybody. We get comfortable, and you forget that. Oh yeah, that's right. That's less reaction time. I mean, so that's not a put down by any means. So good for you.
It's just something we just got to be aware of.
Right. It's a good reminder. Good reminder. So, all right. So here's another one. I'll sum this up. Be careful of left lane, cars ahead turning left, not expected. So what I'm talking about on that, guys, is, so we're traveling down, I'm just going to use like 40th Avenue or something. It's expected. Okay. When cars take right turns, it's very quick, right? So if you're following somebody, if you have two lanes in the same direction, okay, and you're following, I'm doing this for podcasts, so it's we're just discussing visual, and you're in the right lane. If a car slows in front of you, he's going to take a right very quickly, okay, because there's no oncoming traffic that he has to deal with. So he puts on his brake and he slows and he turns. You're not backing up traffic. The most dangerous thing I see with motorcycles and cars, the most rear end collisions, is because they're traveling in the left lane. And what happens in rush hour traffic when there's two lanes in both directions? The guy in the left lane and he wants to make a left-hand turn.
It's got to stop and wait for traffic coming.
And there's no light and people aren't expecting to stop, right? He's got to stop. He's got to wait for on. And so you get this fucking accordion effect, right? And cars do it all the time because you're just not expecting a full stop. When a right-hand turn in the right lane, it's not going to be a full stop and traffic's going to keep moving, even though it's slowing. Does that make sense? Am I explaining that okay?
Yep, I understand it.
As when you're taking that left hand, and so when you're on a motorcycle, this is what I'm talking about, putting everything together. When I am traveling in that left lane, that is when I give even more following distance. I'm giving like 3-4 cars, and I don't care. I don't care if people pull in front of me, even police bike or civilian bike, don't care.
Right.
Because when that car stops in front of me and I see that there's oncoming traffic, now what do I get to do? I get to do all the things that I know I need to do. I get to look in my mirrors. I get to start tapping my brakes.
You have time to do this.
And by me doing that, it makes the next car behind me get to slower, and the next car behind him, instead of this boom, grab brake, and the next car grabs brakes, and the next car. And that is when the collisions happen. It happens all the time. And
you
again,
see that
all the time. Absolutely. If people would just increase their following distance, because you're on the bike, it's your responsibility because you're the one that's going to die. All the cagers, they'll be fine.
Yep.
They'll all have wrecked cars and they'll exchange insurance and we'll do a report and shit and we'll write tickets. But
and
the motorcycle guys, or Harborview, or you're dead.
Right.
And you don't get to ride anymore. So, we can joke all day, but that's the serious consequences of you can't. So give yourself that extra, especially in that left lane, so that you have time to flash your brakes. I push my handles all the time. I pump my back brake, and we already have a little bit of a strobe on the police bikes. My personal bike has the great strobe. My police bike, we can only do so much equipment, what they'll allow, but it does strobe just a little bit, but not a lot. So I hit it 2-3 times. I pump it to get that attention. So now I've got time on my side. I've got mirrors. I'm not causing a traffic crazy situation. I'm not jamming my brakes. I'm putting all these things together.
That's good.
This is how you stay alive.
Yep.
So there you go. So hopefully that makes sense. Any questions on that?
No.
Comments? Okay. Hopefully that's very helpful to people. All right. Now, a lot of people ask, which lane do you prefer to ride in?
Are you talking about if there's multiple lanes or left lanes, or right?
2 lanes at least in one direction.
Okay.
2 lanes at least in one direction. Good. Because
lanes versus tracks.
Lane versus, yeah. Good call. Good call. Lanes versus tracks. I guess I should figure out tracks first. So that's I'm glad you brought that up. Tracks, I don't give a shit. Honestly.
I'll generally, if I'm by myself, ride in the left track.
And a lot of people say that. Well. It depends on the road.
Yeah.
It depends on the road and what kind of angles I'm trying to see.
Conditions. Traffic.
How
much traffic there
blind intersections. It depends on what I'm trying to see. Angles is everything on a motorcycle.
Right.
I'll tell you on what angles you can see. You have to put and we'll talk. This is the perfect time because we're going to get into lane 2. So driving whichever track you want. Left track is generally probably most of the time the appropriate one, but
when
don't let it be, when you're solo, don't let it be an end all because it may not always work for you.
Agreed.
So I prefer when we're talking about lanes, not tracks. Tracks, we mean left and right wheel of a cage. You can either drive in the left wheel of the cage or the right wheel of the cage, just to sum that up a little bit. So, so I prefer as a motor officer to drive as often as I can if there's 2 lanes in one direction in the left lane. There's a reason for that. And you can mitigate one way or another. Okay. We can all go, there's just so many different ways to look at this, but let me explain what I do. And then Bob probably has some information on this too. I'm curious what you practice. So here's why I practice the left lane. The reason is I can get better angles on intersections. So when I'm approaching, one way and I've got intersections on the right and left of me coming up, whether they're blind, whether there's buildings, which you need to take all into account. We train our guys, especially when they're new, we actually look for it. And I know you can do it with your eyes. You can look left and right, but we actually make them move their heads so we know they're doing it when we do these in-town rides and we're evaluating them. I want to see your head move. So every intersection, whether it's stop signs, whether it's uncontrolled, whether it's stoplights, it doesn't matter. But all these uncontrolled intersections, it's a look right and look left. So if that makes sense, if I'm in the right lane, I don't get as good as angle on the intersection to my right.
Correct.
To see cars coming, right?
Right.
If I move to that left lane, I'm kind of in the center of the road, especially if I'm in the left track. So I can see that car coming quicker that's going to blow the stop sign.
You can see farther down the lane that's approaching you.
Exactly, from the right
sense. Yeah.
and the left, because it's kind of the same equal distance, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I can see these great angles. The sooner I can see a car coming quick that's not going to stop, the quicker I can emergency brake,
Right.
and or evade, right? So I hope that makes sense. So I get these better angles. The other additional thing I don't like riding in the right lane is a lot of cars will come up to a stop sign quick and they'll bump their nose out into the intersection and take off your right leg. Make sense? If you're in the right lane and a car's approaching from
if you're traveling in the right lane
and they come out, which has happened, we actually have one officer in our department that had to have serious surgery because of that. And they come out and they pass the stop sign in the intersection a little bit, it'll take out your right leg.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're nosing the front of their car out into the intersection.
Exactly. And it'll straight take you out. Okay. So that gives you another
That's why we're in the left lane.
That's why I choose that.
That's why.
Is that why you do too?
Oh, I do that too.
Is that the reason?
That is the exact reason. I need to see as much of the side traffic and have more lanes to escape. I've got more room to escape.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm.
When I'm in the left lane, I am on the right track.
Okay, you run the right track. Okay, good.
Because I want to occupy more of that lane.
Okay.
I don't want to be over on the left track in the left lane towards the center line because a car can sneak up beside me.
Very true.
If they're trying to pass somebody, they're more likely, oh, I've got room. It's a motorcycle. I need to occupy more of that lane in my mind.
Good.
And if I'm in the right lane, I'm on the left track.
Okay.
I want to occupy the lane. I don't want to be riding next to the curb.
I like that.
Because I've got more room to escape and I've got more angles to see, just like you were saying. That's something I've done since day one, but the way you said it made it sound appropriate.
Good.
Or, I understood it better when you said, angles are the big thing that we need to be concerned about.
Right. Nicely said. So yeah. And the other thing is, while we're talking lanes, left track or right track. So if I'm riding a 2-lane road, 1 lane in each direction. Okay. A lot of people, and I see bikers, and if you're riding 2 abreast, it just is what it is. You're going to have to hug the center line. And I know a lot of people run the left track. I run the right track. I want to be away from that center line in each direction, 1 lane in each direction. Cause that drunk that comes over that center line, and it depends on the shoulder too. It depends on how much bigger shoulder you have to take it. This isn't a catch-all.
Right.
And I know you hear a lot of things and guys are, oh no, I run the left track all the time. Okay. Well, have you thought about that? Because if it's a country road like out here, my angles are good. I don't have buildings blocking my intersections. I got angles for a mile.
Right,
okay. I can see if a car is coming. So I'm going to bump over to the right track so that I'm off the center line. So that drunk that's coming or that guy smoking weed and he comes over 3 feet into my lane, I'm over to the right.
You've already got out of his way.
Right.
And you don't have to make an evasive maneuver, and you're going to be ahead of the guy that's riding in the left track in the right lane.
Exactly. I see some of these guys just hug the center line. They're riding solo. I'm like, that's a death wish. You give no room for error at all. And again,
it's arrogance.
It is. It's not going to happen to me, right? Unfortunately, I see the shit, so I know it happens to everybody.
I think I've done it.
Yeah,
I'm guilty.
Just not even thinking.
Yeah, I saw
it.
your gears turning over there a lot when I was saying all that. Didn't know if you were comprehending or if you're like.
No, I was thinking about my riding when I'm by myself.
Am I guilty of that?
I think I'm guilty of it quite often on a 2-lane road. I'm usually riding the inside track.
Very good.
So
think about that.
And this doesn't make sense, but now that we've had this conversation, but when you're 2 bikes and there's one on the left track and one on the right track, you look like a car to oncoming traffic, right?
Exactly.
So when I'm by myself, I do tend to ride the left track so they can see my headlight and see where I'm at.
My theory is
I don't know that that's the right thing though. After this conversation,
I'm not sure.
Think
it
about
is
the
either.
drunk coming over the center.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Give yourself the
That's why
room.
I'm telling you, I don't know that.
Yeah, this is
what I've been
awesome.
doing.
I love
the way to do it.
Right.
There's 2 ways to think about it. You're riding in the left track in the right lane on a two-way street.
2 lanes, 1 in each direction.
Correct.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm in the left track and I'm occupying more of the lane. And the car that's coming at me, who's starting to swerve into my lane, in my mind, he's going to say, oh, I see a light, or hopefully I see a light coming at me, and it also gives me room to escape to the
right.
Right.
But the drunk doesn't care about your light. He'll actually drive towards it.
I'm still alive.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean?
I get it. And you've opened my eyes when you said that.
And I like hearing this. This is a good discussion because we all have different things in our mind. And I'm not saying my way's I'm not here to tell you guys what's the absolute. It's just stuff
your experience. I've rode far longer years than you have, but you have rode in more dangerous situations than I have. You have opened my eyes this evening to some of your, things that have kept you alive, which is very important for all of us to know.
That's cool.
And it's going to, make me think about that. Ryan was just talking about this the other night, and this has happened to me before. You're talking about, hate to get off track here.
No, what's what we do here?
That's how
we're famous.
That is how we roll.
I know.
That's why you signed up as a patron.
Right. The whole deal where I heard you talking about, you guys are concerned about, you call it dirty foot, putting your foot down.
Oh, yeah. Where'd you hear about that?
I picked up on that, and I've been kind of practicing that.
That's funny because that's police thing. We call it dirty foot.
Well, then tonight,
putting the right foot down.
No, it doesn't matter. It depends which wheel track.
Oh,
you're
true.
In.
Which track you're in.
Explain dirty foot to the audience. What your understanding of it? Yeah.
If you're on the right track and you don't want to put your foot down, you don't want to put your left foot down in the oil,
because that's where all the cars drop all their oil, is in between the two tracks.
Right. Exactly.
And that's dirty foot. And you'll slip and you'll dump your bike, or you'll bring oil back up onto your floorboard.
Onto your foot.
Shifter.
Yeah. And then it's going to make a mess of your bike.
We call it all the time on police motors, dirty foot. If they do it, they actually owe lunch if they put a dirty foot down.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been practicing.
Or beer or a pitcher. It just depends what we're doing.
Cool. Depends on the traffic.
Exactly.
And I've thought about that, and I've been practicing it. And,
Good.
And it's way easier on my touring bike than it is on my driving around town wide glide.
Yeah. You'll get used to it either way, but yeah.
It's like my inclination is when I don't want to be hitting that front brake at the low speed,
right?
And it kind of dives more.
It's much easier to put your left foot down than your right foot. All the time. So, because you got your back brake.
Right.
And when you're putting your right foot down, you got to let off your foot and just use front brake at that last second. One little trick.
That's training, man.
One little trick is, while we're on this, God, this is a great episode, but one little trick is if you're going to put your right foot down, is at the very last second, what we'll do as motors officers is we'll grab that front brake and we'll jerk to the right. Just jerk your handlebars a little bit to the right, and it leans the bike to the right really quick, and it'll make your right foot go down. Same with the left. So
it has to go down.
Correct. We do. Especially if you feel like you're balancing left and your left foot's going to go down, just jerk it a little bit. And you'll go down. Yeah, your right foot will go down, or left. Same thing. Yeah.
Right.
They're little tricks.
I'm far more comfortable putting my left foot down.
Everybody is, because your right foot's on the brake, which is where it's supposed to be.
Yep.
Right. So that's dirty foot. But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So, all right. So left lane, right lane. So, anyways, that all sum up it up on that. On the 2 lanes, 1 in each direction. Just think about that. I'm faithful to that, especially on country roads. I'm riding as far to the shoulder, near the shoulder, especially if the road has a shoulder. If it doesn't, I'll even ride in the center, which is in between the 2 tracks.
I got no problem riding in the center.
Try to give myself a little bit, but if there's a shoulder, I'm riding to the right, because if you're riding in the left lane and the drunk comes across the lane, it might be too late. Even if you can't react at the last second, if he jerks left, it doesn't matter. You really don't have the time. But if you've given yourself 10 extra feet, in that lane, he may only jerk over 3 feet and you're alive. Yeah. So something to think about.
Yep.
Do what definitely.
That's awesome.
Good discussion.
Yep.
All right. How we doing here, boys? God, I told you this episode was just gonna be freaking packed. Let's do this. We got that. More escape routes. Did we talk about that?
I see on there you have eye contact.
Yes.
Eye contact's important, but
where'd you see that?
Oh,
I know I put it in here.
It's up.
Green intersections. Go down. Actually down. Right there.
The other up.
Okay. Yeah.
Eye contact is great.
Good.
But I don't really, I try to make eye contact, and then I look at the rim of the tire. If that rim starts rolling out, there's a problem.
Yep.
If that rim isn't moving.
I hate those drivers that do that.
Yeah. Oh, inching out. That sucks.
Here's what you do with that, Bob. I do it all the time. I do it on my civilian bike and my police bike. Again, what?
You crack the throttle?
No.
No, that's what you used to do.
No, I do that too. Still do it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Loud pipes save lives.
Use them.
Use those pipes.
Oh, that's coming from a motor officer.
Absolutely. Loud pipes save lives, guys. No doubt about it. So I do that. My police bike is stock, so it's not that great. I have this little siren that goes, whoop, 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 whoop. But yeah.
There you go. That's a different.
That works too.
That'll get your attention.
Definitely gets people's attention, gets the deer in the headlight looks. But yeah, and you're right. So what I do, and I wanted to bring that up, is you see those rollers and you see the guys, and a lot of times they're coming up. So if you're going one way and off to your right, a perpendicular intersection, right? They're coming up and they will start, they know that you're going to pass, right? And they're on your right. And so they'll start inching forward because they want to get going before you pass.
Right behind you.
Right behind you. You guys have to get over your ego. Okay. I know we all don't want to pretend like we're paranoid and we don't want to look like pussies or whatever you want to say. I will literally, if their wheels are moving at all, like you say, I look at their wheels, even if they're making eye contact, if they're doing it and I know what they're doing,
right?
I know that they're just trying to get behind me and they're rolling so they can be right behind me. Don't care.
Safeway or whatever.
Because if I'm wrong, I'm dead.
Second quicker.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what I think they're trying to do. So if they're rolling, I literally will stop my civilian bike or police bike and I will stand it up and I will go 1 mile an hour and I will stare at them. And I do it all the time on my police bike. And then they realize, oh shit.
Thank you.
You know, you just have to stop until they stop their wheels. Even if they go in front of you, let them go in front of you. You can't, don't get mad. It's your life. Okay. It's hard.
Well, you get a little.
Yeah, you get a little mad. That's fine, but you're alive, right?
Exactly. That's what counts.
That's what counts. And so I'll stop, and they'll realize because I'll stare at them, and I'll get down to like 2 miles an hour, and they'll realize, oh, I get it. They'll usually realize like, oh shit, I'm rolling, and they'll hit their brakes and they'll make eye contact, and then you can go ahead and let out on your clutch and proceed on. But if they're rolling, I will not pass them. I absolutely will not pass them. I can't do it because
that's awesome.
So
that is a life that could save your life. I don't come to a stop, but I will slow down.
No, I don't mean a stop, but if you have to, but I'm just saying, grab your clutch and get down to a rolling.
Get ready
2 miles
to make
an hour.
An emergency brake
Down to 2 miles an hour if you need to. Cool. And just use your clutch and do a slow race until you realize that they are absolutely stopped. And most of them get it. They're like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? They'll back off a little bit on that.
Flash my headlights.
That too. Flash your headlights is good.
If I see them start moving, it's slow down, grab, cover
good
brakes,
technique,
cover clutch, and get them the brights. Yep. I don't ride with my brights on. I may start doing that.
Good. Yeah, that's.
I do.
I do it. I don't.
I do.
You asked me that today. I ride all day on my police bike and my personal bike.
I don't do it so I can flash them.
Right. Oh yeah,
during the
yeah.
day.
You can still flash them and go to low beam and back to high beam.
Yeah, you can still flash.
I do that. I flash people, but I just go to low beam, back to high beam. Still getting their attention.
Yep.
Right? Okay.
On my wide glide, I think I have the headlight adjusted up a little bit, which I have it on purpose. I don't ride that bike at night. And so when
in the day, it doesn't affect people. They just see you better. At night,
that's what I want.
Dim it. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I want. And I still ride on low beam, but my headlight's up a little higher than it should be. I haven't done the 25-foot, whatever the adjustment procedure is. I know it's a little high. And because I can see road signs lighting up when I get by them. And I flash people all the time. That's my thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do that too. And like I say, the loud pipes, there's nothing wrong with that too.
Ryan flashes people, but he doesn't do it with his lights. He does it with his pants.
Correct. There's nothing wrong with that too.
But they can't see it unless they're, within 10 feet.
Correct. You got to be pretty
really close.
You got to be pretty close. And then it's dangerous. It's just dangerous.
And that's only when it's swollen,
You know what Lurch?
It's always swollen.
You know what Lurch likes to do with the rolling people? So if they're coming perpendicular, Lurch will actually slow down. And if their wheels are rolling, and while he's rolling with one hand on the clutch, he pulls his Glock 45 and he does the gangster. He does the gangster canted.
No, I don't.
And he goes, "What, biatch?"
All Lurch has to do is get off his bike and stand up.
Yeah, true. They're like, that's a giant. I'm just going to move on. Hey, Bikeaholic, searching for New and exciting motorcycle products. Zero 3D has just what you're looking for. Check out their wide variety of innovative products for Harley-Davidson and Honda Gold Wing motorcycles. For all you Gold Wingers, we love you.
Gold Strike!
It's gold. I like the gold. Zero 3D's got your back with chrome and black parts, lighting, other comfort products. No modifying, cutting, grinding, or welding for an easy installation that equals less time installing, more time riding. Zero 3D has a design team with over 40 years experience with a passion for design and innovation. That is clear. CAN bus made simple with plug and play lighting system. They pride themselves on great customer service. Got a question? Get in touch with them via email, sales@zero3d.com. Give them a call, 715-808-0027. Hit them up. Check out your local Harley or Honda dealership. Ask for those Zero or
Gold Strike!
A new leader has emerged, so check out Zero 3D's custom line of Gold Strike products for Honda or Gold Wings. Gold! I love the gold! Help support us. Head over to lawabidingbiker.com/store and check out our full line in stock Zero 3D products. We're rolling. Told you, Bob, so much information, and we always think we're not going to have enough time. We need to keep moving.
We're trying to put 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound sack.
This was an important episode, so I don't want to cut it short. If we have to go long, I hope you guys are okay with that.
Let it roll.
I'm good.
All right. Because I don't want to cut this one short. This can save people's life. So, all right.
It's important.
It is. And this is like I say, Bob, I appreciate you forcing me to finally put all these notes together with your little ideas. Like, dang it. He texted me, he wants to do that episode. I'm like,
if we're going to keep going, I'm going to go use the urinal.
Yeah, no problem. So make sure you wash your hands afterwards.
I will not.
Do not touch your wiener, and then
my penis is super clean.
Dip in the ice, and
if you pee on it, it'll sterilize it.
Yeah. Urine is a sterile fluid.
Unless you have a kidney infection.
Bear Grylls drinks his
Good
pee.
point, Bob. Good point, Bob.
So always pee on yourself.
Bob, he's sharp, dude. He's sharp over here. All right, so this is a big one, Bob, and I don't know if you ever thought about this. Maybe you have, so I'll be curious to think about this. So when I'm on my, again, this crosses over from Leo or police bike or civilian bike, Leo bike or civilian bike, but here's one of the things that is just, you have to learn to do this. So you're stopped in an intersection, all right? I don't care how many lanes it is. You got left-hand turn lanes. You got 2 lanes each direction. You got a busy-ass intersection with a red light, and you got fucking green arrows and all kinds of shit, right? You got a lot going on. You got traffic, First Street and Yakima Ave. Okay, so to put it in relation to us. So you're waiting, and you're heading a direction, and it's red, and you're just sitting there waiting, and it turns green. Okay? The one thing that can save your life, do not be in a hurry to take off.
Don't be the first guy through the intersection.
Why?
Let the shit happen in front of you that's going to happen. Someone's going to run a red light.
Right.
They're
going the opposite direction or perpendicular direction.
Perpendicular is what I see.
Yep.
And people
That's
will
what it should be.
And people get upset with you from behind. It's like, dude, where are you going? It's a green light. Go, man, go.
Thank you, Bob.
That is the hardest.
Do you care? Let him get mad.
It
makes you mad, but screw him.
I let him get mad,
screw him.
It's a hard discipline. It is not easy to sit at a green light,
right?
Because this car's starting to go. I want the car in the other lane for me to block me from the guy that's going to blow the light.
Nice.
I'd rather he hits a car than hits me.
Yeah, you said that well. Lurch went to the urinal. He's checking for drinks.
I'd ask for more ice, but I know where his hands have been.
I just washed my hands.
No, he didn't. With sterile urine, he did. Hey, Lurch. Yeah, that's good. I'll take a little more ice too.
Thank you, sir.
We're filling our drink. This episode, I hope you guys, I know this is going to be a evergreen episode. It really will. I'm glad you're involved with this. Like I said, I literally had it for a year. Thank you, bro. You got water all over me. Good job. Was that urine or ice?
Smell it.
All right, just kidding.
It smells like water.
No, Lurch takes care of me. He's filling me up with.
That was ice, bro.
Filling me up with Jameson. Very good. I'm glad you said that.
That is the hardest discipline.
It is,
and I don't see anyone else do it.
Right? You don't.
Nope.
Bikers and there's so many bad habits, which is why we have a high fatality rate on bikers, honestly.
Right.
And I don't mean that as a put down to the biker community. And that's what Law Abiding Biker Podcast is for. That and a whole bunch of other things is to bring awareness. And if we can all help each other and save lives, honestly, that's a big deal. And I know it sounds cliche, but I'm humble about that.
That's one reason I'm here.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's awesome. So what Bob said, absolutely, guys. You just can't let it piss you off. You have to wait.
Well, you can't get off your bike and go punch him in the nose like you want to.
No, you can't, and it sucks. Again, you have to get over your own ego, which is hard. It's called emotional intelligence. It's just, we all have to learn it. It's hard. You just have to go, I don't care, because at the end of the day, they can honk at me. I'm alive. I got a honk at. Big deal. You know what? I'm alive. When the light turns green, give it a good 1001, 1002, 1003. Let the guy in the right lane or the left lane next to you take off.
Block for you.
See if they get creamed. See if they get T-boned. And then if it's all good, take off. And that will give all those red light runners, you'll give them time. You'll see them going. If you guys start doing this, you will see. You'll be like, I could have died right there. You'll see it. You'll be like, that would have killed me.
Yep.
You'll see these late light guys, and they'll blow it, and you'll just be smiling going, yep. That's exactly why I'm not the first guy to take off.
That's it.
Especially if you have a semi to your right or something, they're going to be a good blocker. You can take off. I still say wait, but you can still take off a little. I always let the semis take off first because they're going to be my blocker.
Russell Roberts is going to block that.
Oh, snowman.
Old snowman. He's bound down.
10-4,
loaded up and
10-4, little buddy. I got your back.
He's going to block
I got your
you.
blocker. I'm blocking right lane. I'm blocking right lane. Come up on my left. Come up on my left. You're good.
Most of those truckers like us bikers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think most of them ride too.
A lot of them do.
I mean, if you're a open road trucker, what more would you want other than to do that on a motorcycle?
Right.
You get to do it in the biggest thing on the road and one of the smallest. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't be like one of our, I won't even get into that. We had a recent one 2 weekends ago. I don't know if you saw it in the paper, with one of our local clubs get creamed because they were hauling through an intersection. So
was that on 40th and Lincoln?
No, it was at First Street and Lincoln.
Oh.
First Street it was First Street and Lincoln. Yeah. So, just again, enough said about that. We're going to move on. Is there anything else on that, Bob?
Nope.
Yeah, just frickin' wait. Count your 3, and let everybody else get creamed.
That's
and you
hard.
can be a witness to the police. You can say, I witnessed that shit. It was hairy, man. That guy got T-boned. It would have been me, but I waited my 3 seconds.
I have to talk.
And the dickhead behind me honked at me, but I don't give a shit.
The
I'm
jack
alive.
wagon.
Jack wagon, yeah.
That's right.
Esquire. Can you have a jack wagon Esquire?
Well, you could be. I mean,
You
technically,
could be a
you
doctor
could be
and
an
a jack
attorney.
wagon attorney.
No, you could be an attorney that stopped practicing law. Maybe
That's
you
like
do.
spelling Bob, Baughb. I mean, we could do this.
Right, we could, yeah.
Maybe you practice law on the side, or maybe you just do it occasionally, but you also serve chow in a wagon train. You could be
Now,
Ryan Erlacher, the Jack Wagon Esquire.
Why is the last wagon in a wagon train the food wagon?
Correct. It should be the first.
Yeah.
Food's most important.
Well, you don't want dirt all
besides
over
the
your
arms.
food.
Besides, if it's an arms
Unless the food
wagon
tastes
and
like
they got
shit.
like rifles and shit, that might be more important. But yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. No doubt. All right, here's another. Moving on. 2 lanes of traffic, and I'll clean this up. 2 lanes of traffic stopped in the opposite direction than you are going. Okay, so let me see if I can explain this visually via words. Okay, so this is going to be a tough one. So there's 2 lanes in each direction. Start there.
Got it?
Okay. So I'll give you a visual. Maybe it'll help the audience. It won't because they don't understand. So anyways, 2 lanes in each direction. You're going this way. Okay. And you're in the left lane or the right lane. It doesn't matter, but both your lanes are open, wide open, and you're just cruising along. But the 2 lanes in the opposite direction oncoming are backed up for a mile. Okay. 40th and Summit View, whatever you want to say. Okay. So you're cruising along going, oh yeah, there's a lot of traffic over on that other side. That's
sucks to be in that lane.
Sucks to be in that lane, right? And you're just cruising along. This hurts a lot of bikers. I see it all the time. Hurts a lot of motorists, cagers. All right. And so you've got on that opposite side where you've got 2 lanes of backed up oncoming traffic, You've got all kinds of businesses over here and private driveways, okay? And or even city street intersections, okay? So you're going in the opposite direction. What happens? You got people that leave gaps because they want to be the nice motorist and let people out. Or there's a small gap, right? They want to let people out of these driveways to come out into your lanes, right?
All right.
And they're flagging them out and shit.
Yeah.
Thank you. If I'm not making this clear, because this needs to be clear for the podcast.
Right.
So you're all free, but you got this backed up traffic opposite direction, but you got some small gaps, okay? As a motorcycle officer, let me tell you, there's no time I am on higher fucking guard than this, because all those gaps, you can't see it. So this is all angles again.
Right.
So whether I'm in the right lane or the left lane, I am immediately dumping my speed when that backed up traffic to like nothing. And I'm covering my brake, rear brake, front brake. I'm covering my clutch, and I'm looking for these possible gaps in the traffic, because wherever there's a gap, maybe I can't see the intersection in the driveways because the traffic's so backed up, but I know if there's a gap, there is some dumbass that's going to try to come between the gap, because it happens all the time. I show up at these accidents. They're like, but he flagged me out. Where is he? Oh, well, he took off. Yeah, well, no shit, because he flagged you out and he saw you collide and he's out of here. Okay. Don't leave those gaps. Number one, if you're a motorist, I know you're trying to be courteous. Don't leave those gaps, because it's just, I hate it. In my personal vehicle or my motorcycle, I block them. I don't care. Do not leave gaps and try to flag people out to turn, because they're going to get creamed and they're going to kill somebody. And it happens hundreds of times. It drives me nuts.
What you're saying is fill the gap.
Fill the gap. But as a motorcycle officer, yes. Good call. Okay. I caught you. I caught you on that one for Lurch. All right. So fill the gap. But if you're in the opposite direction, you just have to be ready that at any moment, if there's more than a car length, it's a possibility for somebody to sneak through, and they are going to pull right out in front of you because they're blocked from traffic and they're pulling through the pack, so to speak. Does that make sense, Bob?
I'm picking up what you're laying down, but I have a comment.
Yes, please do.
In my town, they are now putting paint lines that say "Do not block intersection."
I know. And honestly, Bob, that's good. There's only one that I can think of, and that's at First Street and J, right up there by the Jack in the Box. Is there more?
Oh, there was one down by.
They actually paint the road there.
They're starting to put those curbs in now that on like
that 40th and Chestnut. They force you. You can't take a left.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be minimal, but it's a good point.
There's one there farther down the hill by the coffee shop where Albertsons used to be. The paint may still be there.
Those aren't being enforced, by the way. Nobody knows about them. But anyways,
it's like, what the hell is that?
Correct. Because I agree with you. And sometimes the city does stuff or counties do stuff that's not safe, and then they'll figure it out.
After there's been a lawsuit.
Correct. After somebody sues them and goes, but yeah.
Those are dangerous.
Aside from that, you get what I'm saying.
For motorcycles. Oh, yeah.
Just you better, and I see guys just bombing through, and I'm just like, that is where I'm most nervous every day. Right. Is that situation, regardless of following distance and left lane, right? I'm telling you guys right here, this is where you need to be on your shit. Like slow, back off, look for the gaps, cover your shit. And,
nobody sees you.
Nope, because those cars will pull. Is there anything? Did I explain that okay? Did I give you all a good visual? You were dicking around, no, Bob.
I
was listening as well. That's
you know what I'm saying? Where people flag people out,
right?
And it's the opposite direction.
Right.
You're going the opposite direction. You got traffic all backed up, 2 oncoming lanes, but your lane's free. So you're like, I'm cruising along.
You're on your highway pegs,
right? You're on your exactly. You're on your highway pegs, and people from the 2 opposite lanes. There's private businesses and driveways, and they're leaving little gaps. And, some motorists are flagging people. Oh, come on out. I'll leave a gap for you. I'm the nice motorist.
Don't leave the gap on a bike. Fill it.
But you're not.
No, you're not.
That's fine. You're not in that. You're going the opposite direction as them. You've got 2 lanes oncoming. Okay. Backed up. Okay.
Paint this picture for me.
All right. A mile of backed up traffic.
Yes.
2 lanes opposite of you.
Yes.
Backed up, stopped, honk, New York traffic. You are going in the opposite direction of all the backed up traffic.
Picking up what you're putting down.
Okay. Any gap in this traffic is a spot for this guy to come out of a private driveway.
Agreed.
That's what you need to
That's
be
what we're
on a
looking out
motorcycle.
for.
Now, if you're in the same direction, yeah, fill the gap. But besides that, the most dangerous thing is you go in the opposite direction.
Watch for somebody jumping in front of you.
Watch for the gaps. The gaps, people will come through. They will cross the street.
Mind the gap.
Mind the gap. Mind the gap. Do what you have to do. There you go. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It does. I picked it up the first time.
You did. Thanks, Bob. You're much sharper than my producer over here.
Actually, I'm looking at stuff you said to me earlier. So you mentioned something.
Pre-production.
Pre-production.
Yeah. He already mentioned something I'm looking at.
No, I'm just messing with you, dude. I love you.
What was that? That was what Ryan was talking about down on first.
He's just talking about the crash. So I started looking. I'm a producer, so I started looking.
Nice.
When you say something that's not on the show notes, and I start looking to see if I can dovetail it into the conversation.
Did you find the club?
I have not, but it's not important. But I don't know if I would dovetail it into this conversation. So, but I always look, no matter what you say, if it's not in the
Nicely
notes,
done,
I'm looking on the internet, and so at times I may kind of back off a little bit so that you guys can have the conversation.
Right.
Nice. And eventually, when you retire, we're going to have a second monitor. So whatever you're looking at, I can see too.
Shut up.
That's right. So we have two monitors.
So you can
That'd be
see
great.
what I'm looking at?
Actually,
that'd be awesome.
Actually, I won't be doing any of this. You'll be doing all of this. So
all right.
I can, because you can tell me, hey, Ryan, I got it up on the monitor. I'll look up the monitor.
Yeah.
All I'm going to do.
I'd ask for a raise.
Oh yeah, I'm going to have
Bob,
to.
stop that shit. What are you talking about, dude?
He pays me right
you
now
serious?
in beer and food. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you serious, Bob? Don't
At least
be doing
he
that to
started
me.
getting the good stuff.
Sorry, I'm just working off experience.
We need more patrons. Straight up, dude.
I tell my guys to do something. It's like, well, I don't get paid for that.
You're right. Yeah.
Well, I just ask you to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm your boss. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. No, yeah, Lurch. That'll be nice someday. You're going to be doing all that stuff. I'm just going to talk
on a larger screen.
Yeah, on a larger screen. I'm just going to be talking. That's all I want to do. I don't want to do all this. You can switch video angles and all that shit. Okay, so, wow, guys, this is crazy. This is let's do this. Of course, we would love to have you as a patron member. We want to get to know you better. We want you in the private Facebook group. We want you on the live video broadcast and chat. But you know what? If the only way that you can support us is through a flat donation, we never. That sounded like a dying. It sounded like a. Oh, God, dude. Oh, Dan Fahey of Greenwich, Connecticut. Troy Starr of Henderson, Nevada. Robert Simon of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Substantial donation. Thank you, sir, very much. You left a message. I bought a whim for my Road Glide and it used your free video to install it and set it up and wanted to let you know how much I appreciate the work you do to help us all do the work ourselves. Sending some saved cash to you.
Right on, Robert.
Okay, nice. Yeah. lawabidingbiker.com/donate if that is how you choose to support us. Thank you so much. We love it. Love the support. Okay, so let's scroll back up here, Bob. Where were we at? My God.
I don't know.
We're doing good, but damn, this is just so much. I knew this episode. That's why I got to stay on track. So don't ride in a car's blind spot. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
man. You take this. I need to drink a little whiskey here because my mouth's dry.
If the car that you're riding next to, behind, in front of, whatever, if you can't see them in your mirror, they can't see you. And that's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm. So 2 lanes, one direction. You're either in the left lane or the right lane up at their rear quarter panel, right?
Yep. Or depending on what they're driving, if you can't see them in their mirror, they can't see you. So that's something that you got to be aware of.
Yep. So get past them or fall behind them, right?
I tend to go past them.
Hang on, Lurch is showing me something here. Now I got to pay full attention.
The reason you want to...
I forgot you're old and you can't see little writing. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
But anyways,
Right, yeah.
I'm going to say that for later. So
yeah,
you don't ride.
He's the guy.
So okay. So you don't ride in the blind spot. You tend to go.
I tend to move past.
Well, don't
them.
ride in the blind spot. Either fall the fuck back, or go forward.
So what Bob's saying, he goes past.
He throttles down because
makes a little noise.
Savage because he's a savage. He's just like, yeah, He just fucking grabs the throttle. Yeah, just past him. Man.
It's safer to go a little bit faster than the posted speed limit to get past
him, right?
dangerous situation.
Yep, I agree.
And even though I've tried to explain that to a state patrol officer,
those guys do not have a good sense of humor.
It's like you were doing 10 over. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Is that what they played? Yeah, no, and good.
Then they start asking you, "Do you know any Dawsons from Spokane?" I'm like, "That's a trick question."
I know none of them. I know none of those.
This is what you say, Bob. Is one of them a state trooper? And they say, "Oh yeah, he's a cousin." Yeah, well, I definitely know him. Oh, I definitely know him.
But I don't know the guys that have the auto.
We just hung out last weekend
in the jail.
But you're right. All jokes aside, it's better to be alive, right?
Be in front or be behind.
If you're not doing it over extended period, honestly, it's not, and I get it. There's a lot of, let's not go down that rabbit hole. Right. It's better to be alive. Yes.
I don't ride behind pickup trucks because every pickup truck has an unsecured load.
Nice.
You can go look at mine. It does not have an unsecured load, but I'll bet you
it did because it had a cooler in it named Bob and it wasn't tied down.
Well, it was under 6 inches above the below.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. There's got to be some. Yeah,
nice call.
That's my attorney, Esquire. Bullshit.
We had to. That's awesome, dude.
I'm really cognizant about that because I had I had a situation coming over the Vantage Bridge after a Roger Waters concert. Came down the hill, came around the corner.
Look up Roger Waters. Just teasing.
Did you see that concert?
No, I went to the Pearl Jam concert, but not the Roger Waters.
Me and Lurch went to the Pearl Jam and Safeco.
Awesome.
Roger Waters. I like it.
Waters.
I didn't mean to get off track.
That was what a show. To open the show, can we get off topic here a little bit?
We never do that, so do not.
Okay. Anyhow,
please do.
Anyhow, the Roger Waters is standing on top of the PA stack behind the stage, and he keeps looking upriver. Right at the start of the show in the gorge.
Yeah,
And hold on, I got to back it up just a second for Ryan.
Geez.
Pink Floyd.
This is going to go forever.
What? Pink Floyd.
The Roger Waters from the band Pink Floyd, but this is
there you go.
Oh,
for our younger,
is he on his own now?
Yeah. No, he's the lead singer. So
okay. Well, no,
he's a bass player.
Excuse me.
Wrote most of the songs.
Excuse me.
Him and David Gilmour.
So for our younger audience, from Pink Floyd,
dude, this is badass. Dude, who's that? Lurch. Who's singing right now?
I will become comfortably numb.
Who's singing right now?
That's Eddie freaking Vedder.
It's Eddie Vedder, Pearl Jam.
Right on.
I didn't know he did this. Eddie Vedder did this with Roger Waters. Eddie Vedder does all kinds of shit like that.
That's cool.
Love Pearl Jam.
That's cool. I love Pearl Jam.
Oh, I did not know Eddie Vedder did that with him, dude. See all the shit you learn here, Bob?
It's amazing.
Comfortably numb.
It's a great song.
Oh, God.
But Eddie singing it is even awesome, dude.
Now I got that feeling once again. I can't explain you now.
Okay, that has got to be downloaded right now.
Add that to your Pearl Jam list. Pearl Jam Essentials.
Dude,
if I recall,
add that to my Pearl Jam Essentials, dude.
Pearl Jam.
Bob, see the stuff I discover?
Pearl Jam played in University of Montana the night after you guys saw him, and my friend...
oh, no shit.
A good buddy of mine that I grew up with is involved with whenever a big band comes to the University of Montana, like the Stones or whatever, he helps get them set up. So he gets to meet all these cool people.
No shit.
Yeah.
That is badass, man. Okay.
Well, we were talking about me
we digress.
Right.
I could listen to that song. That's cool. All right, go ahead. Roger Waters.
Well,
there
put
you
it
go.
in the background.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, I knew Pink Floyd. Of course, I just didn't pay attention to. Yeah. So, all right, Roger Waters.
Oh, you were thinking about the show, and I was thinking about rocking out to Roger Waters.
Yeah.
And almost dying on the Vantage Bridge.
Oh, okay. Just go back to dying.
I don't want to die.
Almost dying. You're right.
Well, I don't want to die tonight.
Almost dying.
Anyhow, I wanted to go off topic, and I started talking about Roger Waters. He was standing on his PA stack before the show started. He kept looking upriver. Nothing's happening. The band is all standing on stage. All of a sudden, his 737 that he flies from show to show comes below the level of the gorge, above the Columbia River, and swoops over us and goes as straight up as a 737 can do above the stage, to the point where I was wiping kerosene jet fuel off me. And then he starts, so I thought you might like to go to the show. And everyone's going, oh, fuck yes. And the jet's going off.
Dude, that's money, dude.
So the pilot dropped him off in Seattle. They took a tour bus probably over to the gorge.
Moses Lake.
Have I got a deal for you?
Yeah, Moses Lake.
I want you to buzz the concert in the 737.
Holy cow,
That's
dude.
how the show opened.
That's awesome.
It was amazing.
Wow, dude, that is a badass story, dude.
Has nothing to do with not following pickups.
Correct. But it's everything to do with the biker life, dude, because we love culture and music and concerts. So that's great. And I just discovered a new song that I will be definitely downloading, dude. That was the concert for Sandy Relief is where that came out. There's a whole bunch of albums on here is how that came up in iTunes. So if you want to see Comfortably Numb featured Eddie Vedder live, Roger Walters artist, there you go. Sandy Relief. All right. So following pickups. You're right. Unsecured load. Enough said about that. Yep. Something coming out. I agree. So get past or go behind the rider's blind spot. So I already touched on this a little bit and we'll cruise through this. Again, if you're following, whichever lane you're in, give yourself that following space. I do touch my brakes, whether you have a, custom dynamics modulator like I have. I'll try to link to some of this in the show notes for you guys.
You should have
done videos on this. You should. You really should. There's like 12 different patterns you can set and just gives that strobe effect. Of course, you can add that, the Zero 3D LED lights to the rear, all that kind of stuff. Tons of stuff on our YouTube channel, all that. Get the rear of that bike lit up and then add that strobe. If you don't have a strobe or you can't afford it, my police bike it's a very limited pattern. So I literally pump it 3 or 4 times to reactivate that strobe each time. Every time I stop, I do that. Even if I'm already sitting at a red light for a minute and it's a long red light and I see from a distance.
See a car coming up?
You see multiple cars.
Yep.
I start pumping that brake, even though I'm all stopped and it's like for a mile, they should be able to see that it's a red light. I still, because they're texting or they're smoking weed or they're drunk, right?
Pump that son of a bitch and be looking for an escape route.
They're smoking hemp, Lurch. Oh, they can't. They don't smoke hemp.
Cannot
They smoke.
Well, you
doesn't
can smoke
burn
hemp,
well.
but it's not going to do anything for you.
I just wanted to bring it back up.
My dad used to say it would give him a headache.
Yeah, smoking hemp just give you a headache. Kind of like cloves.
Didn't get him stoned.
Kind of like cloves. I smoked cloves in high school.
There's no THC in hemp.
Gave me a damn headache. Cloves every time.
What
They're
the hell?
horrible.
Oh, the
You
spice
didn't smoke cloves?
Fuck no.
Everybody tried smoking cloves.
No,
dude.
just the retards.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
In high school.
No, it was
Tell me
banana
what you-
peels, bro.
Tell me what you know what I'm talking about. Cloves, dude.
Clove cigarettes. Yeah, they smell.
Thank you.
Clove cigarettes.
Yes.
Not crushing up
No.
cloves
you
and
smoke
smoking
no.
a little
No.
and then
There was-
smoking a little.
That's hardcore. That's a clove
It was
addict.
kind of it was kind of thing in the 90s. The clove cigarettes. They had
Oh, yeah.
They're
They're horrible. Give me
Smelled
a
like
headache.
incense. It smelled like cloves.
Oh, they're horrible.
It was dumb.
But we did it because we were dumb. And they gave you a headache. And then you realize
You
I'm
were
not
just
going to
trying
do
to
that
be
shit
cool.
anymore. Right. I'm not going to do that shit anymore.
But you were not cool.
Anyways, hit your damn brakes. If you don't have and you can't afford a modulator and LEDs, at least just either way, pump your brakes a couple times. Give people the opportunity to see and create that cushion of safety to get everybody behind you and beyond. Everybody a nice slow reaction. That's what I say. If you can get everybody to do a nice slow reaction, everybody will get stopped in time, including those cagers. So let me look through my notes here. Nice and easy. Yep, we talked about that. Anything else about that there, Bob or Lurch?
No, I think
No,
you
I-
drilled that down nicely.
Yeah.
You were
Thank you.
very eloquent and a bit pithy, to be honest with you.
Oh my God, we're at an hour and 45. We're going to finish this, damn it. Thank you guys. You okay? Both of you?
I'm good.
All right. These go, I'm sorry. This is how these go sometimes, but this one we're going to refer a lot of people to. So
Cool.
all right. This isn't really a safety issue. It is because you can break your leg, which is safety. It probably won't kill you, but it's going to suck because your leg is going to snap. I see a lot of this and you guys have all seen it and you've seen it. duck walking, or the guy that's at a, motorcycle rally and he's riding through the parking lot,
dragging feet
with both
and
of
his
his
legs
feet
are both sticking out.
Like,
what the hell are you doing?
An inch off the ground,
Yeah.
or they're out front, propped up.
Ouch.
Okay, like a dirt bike rider. Yeah, it looks horrible. It's dangerous in the aspect. If you are duck walking, we call it, or,
because it looks like a duck coming in for a landing.
It looks like a duck coming in for a landing, and your feet are all over the place, and you have to ride it at 1 mile an hour with your feet an inch above the ground because you think you're going to fall.
And you can hold up your 900-pound bike?
Correct. Yes, and that's what snaps legs. That's what we tell guys first thing in police motorcycle school is you just, before you put your feet down, just dump your bike.
Right.
The reason is
you can get your leg out of the way.
We have like 3 motors officers right now on my unit that have all broken their legs because they did that. You just can't do that. No. You just learn to drop your bike. It's got crash bars. It's good, especially if it's a touring. Crash bars are good. Even if not, it's better than breaking your leg. It's a hard mental concept to get through, and I get it because
it's about
you want to
balance.
save your bike. It is about balance
and practice
and clutch. It's clutch, throttle, gray area. You should be able to do less than 1 mile an hour and be able to have your feet on the floorboard. It's all about working your gray area. We aren't going to get it deep into that, but Bob clearly knows what I'm talking about. Learn that. Learn those techniques. Look it up online. Go to some motorcycle schools. Whatever you need to do. As soon as you move, your feet should be on the floorboards, and you shouldn't put your feet down until you're completely stopped, and that should be 1 foot, which we've already talked about. It's sharp. It's the way it should be. You won't break your leg. If you're riding on the road and you can't balance like that, you probably shouldn't be on the road yet. So take some training, work that gray area in your clutch, that throttle, and learn how to balance your bike. And once you get good at it, you can actually do a slow race and or do a complete stoppie, which I can do for quite extended periods of time, completely stopped with my bars locked and clutch and throttle, and you should be able to balance your bike. Just work on that, and it will make you a safer rider. And that everything with clutch and gray area moves into every other aspect of riding a motorcycle. And safer on the street, and safer with taking off, and safer with slowing, and safer with going around corners. Everything is that gray area and that clutch and having it partially out in your throttle and all that kind of stuff. Enough said on that. Anything before I duck walking? Anything on that, Bob?
Nope.
Matt? Okay. All right. Do you have anything else before I get into that, Bob or Matt, that you want to bring up on safety issues? Because I'm going to get into a little bit more ambiguous type stuff that you want to bring up that's a safety issue, Bob, that you see, or Matt, that you see, that you want to say that this is what I do and this is why, or this is what I see and this is why I don't like it.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm picking up what you're laying down.
You've hit the major ones for me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there are, Bob, as you know, and I've been the last 3 weekends to local toy runs, motorcycle parades, and I'm going to one tomorrow, Veterans Day. God bless our veterans. We already said
Amen.
that, right?
Amen.
God bless. We absolutely support our veterans here. And in fact, last year, didn't I see you at the Veterans Day parade? I was on my police bike and you were sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow.
Were you? Sweet. I'll see you.
Yep.
I'll
I
see
can't
you
remember
there.
what it was. It was earlier this year, wasn't it?
Was it earlier this year or was it the Veterans Day
No, it
played
wasn't.
last year? Okay,
It
we do a
was-
bunch of them.
I know. I can't remember
The
what it
Sun
was.
Fair. We do all kinds of shit.
Yeah, it wasn't Sun Fair. It was something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember all the parades I do.
You guys were looking good out there, though.
Well, thank you, Bob. I
Always.
saw Bob and his wife. I'm like, hey, riding on my police motorcycle.
There's a
cleaning up the
familiar
parade.
face, and
There's
your
a
partner
familiar
goes, "Hey, did you arrest him last week?"
yeah, no doubt, dude. Well, as a matter of fact, I did.
They got their riding pants on and their tall, shiny boots.
That's right. I arrested him.
Yeah.
There's a spot on the back of my shop he forgot to paint. I hooked him up. There's not. I'm just teasing. He's like, he got all
He's like,
concerned.
what?
I'm just
Are you
teasing.
serious?
I'm just teasing, Bob. Jeez, he's gonna get all crazy on me here. All right, so yeah, we'll be doing that parade tomorrow. That'll be fun. It's gonna be cold, but all right. So here's one thing. So I've been, and I don't know in your town, guys out there, what you're doing, but I get a lot of emails. We actually donate to a lot of different guys that ask for, swag and t-shirts and stuff, donate to different causes for poker runs and different parades and things like that. I'm specifically going to talk about motorcycle parades. I'll get a little more specific about that. So what I'm talking about is like here they do a toy run for Toys for Tots. And the
YWCA.
We did that too. Yes, we did both of those.
That's a big one for me.
Did you do that one? Because I
didn't get to do either one of the toy runs this year, but I still contribute to them.
That's the thing. Yep. I contribute. Yep. Yeah. And please, listeners, and don't get offended by what I'm about to say. I'm not telling you not to do them. Just understand some of the points I bring up that may make you put yourself in a different position within that parade. Okay. They're great causes. I'm not dogging the causes. We do these. We escort them as a police agency, as a Leo Motors officer. I escort these things. They are one of the more dangerous things we do. Let me break that down. It's one of the more dangerous things you can do as a rider. Again, support the hell out of them. Just understand the dangers involved with them. So here's the deal. You get 250 bikers together that have never ridden together. Okay. And we escort them through town, through a specific route, through regular city streets, through intersections. We're blocking. You've seen it.
Oh yeah.
We come up on your right. We're hauling ass. We're getting up to the next
Which
intersection.
Is awesome, by the way.
It's cool, huh? It's pretty intense, isn't it?
It's awesome.
It's intense.
My wife goes, here they come, here they come.
Is that what she says when she's riding on the back? Yeah. We try to do the woo, 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 woo. We try to let people know.
We're coming.
It's hot and it's dangerous for what we do. This is how motors officers die all the time. It's through escorts. Mm-hmm. Most motors officers die or are injured through funeral escorts and motorcade escorts and presidential escorts. That's how they die because it's high risk. Even though we train hard for it, we go to schools for it. They're just inherent risks. You got cross intersection, you got all kinds of shit. You're doing 60, 70 miles an hour. Multiple agencies. You're working with other agencies. You're working with a whole bunch of bikers that at any time could move to your right lane, which is the no-fly zone, right? And
if they're paying attention to the pre-ride.
Thank you. We do a pre-ride. We do a brief.
Yeah.
But a lot of people there, we found in the last two, which we're getting on, like if you don't listen to the pre-ride, we're kicking people out.
Good for you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's dangerous for you. I understand.
It's dangerous for you, me, everybody.
I'll just from my experience, I can't hear what you guys are saying. I just know to stay in my freaking lane.
Right. You heard that at least at some point.
Well, I just know it.
You're right. Right. He's starting to get on the loudspeaker now, so he can get out there more.
Oh, good.
You know what I mean? Yeah. We did that at the last one.
Yeah. The last one I went to, they were on the bike loudspeaker, but I still couldn't hear
Thanks
it.
for letting us know that. We need to get that out.
You need to get stick your arm up and get a real loudspeaker.
Nice. That's good to know. Because we don't know how it is on the other side. So
can't hear it when the speakers are coming out into the crowd. 10 people back.
Oh, I'm going to tell my sergeant that tomorrow. Good. I'm glad to hear that. That's really important. Yeah. Because we want everybody to be involved. We brief everybody. But here's the deal. To sum this up so we can eventually finish this episode, which is great information, I think. But so you guys go to these toy runs, these escorted parades, whether they're escorted by police or not, whether it's a security company doing it, whatever. Here's the deal. You're getting with 250 other bikers who have never ridden side by side. Or maybe they have, but they haven't ridden with you two abreast. Okay. And you're supposed to be going through town, riding two abreast, and you've got all kinds of, accordion effect. Everybody knows what that is.
Oh my goodness.
The worst in a big group like that.
It's horrible.
Yeah. It's,
you got guys that are following at a bike's length, which is how the parade's supposed to go. So I'm not dogging them. Now you're and although we try to keep the parade slow to 20 miles an hour, still, and you got a whole bunch of egos, you've got a whole bunch of clubs, and a lot of these guys come around a corner and they want to wrap their pipes and they want to take off quick, and then they take off quick, and then they're on somebody's ass, and then they ram their brakes, and then Bob Dawson and his wife are behind them, or Matt, and then they have to ram on their brakes, and you got all these hot rodders and people, and a lot of these people, unfortunately, Bob, and it's okay, don't take it offense, but a lot of these people, they only come out for toy runs. They aren't riding long distances. They don't practice emergency braking in parking lots like you. They don't take their riding seriously.
Right.
They come out, I want to eat a hot dog, and I want to donate toys, and it's a great cause, and I want to ride in a parade, and they have no other riding experience than that. This is one of the most dangerous circumstances, and we do it because we're told to do it. But I'll tell you, we talk about it in brief, like this is the most dangerous thing that bikers do as a whole, as a community. And I'm not saying go away. I'm just saying you may want to ride in the very front or very back. As a law-abiding biker podcast listener,
there's some good inside info there.
Be careful of who you ride next to. Ride next to a buddy.
I don't ride side by side on those. I stagger.
Okay. And some of them do. Right.
I do.
And good for you. And start the stagger process. Again, they're great events, and I love the community, and I love meeting all the bikers and stuff. I just cringe because we've had a lot of accidents. We almost had one killed 2 weekends ago within seconds, a split second of being killed. I saw it all. I was like, this is because he got out of the package and decided to do a U-turn because an ambulance was coming, and he almost got creamed by an ambulance about 70 miles an hour on some of you. And so
wow.
I was ready to go get the Faro 3D laser scanner and start. It was horrible. And so and that's the thing, you brief, and some people might not follow the rules and some people might not be listening. And so I don't want to beat a dead horse there, but just that and I know you don't think about it, I've ridden in the past, you just be very, very aware of the dangers you're putting yourself in riding. I'm not saying don't donate to them or be involved, but there are some people that donate. I know here in the community, they're run schools. They won't ride in them because of that. They're not going to put themselves at that risk. Take it for what it is. Any cleanup on that? Or
I can just
anything
say
I said is offensive. I hope I didn't offend anybody.
Not at all. I've been in a few of those, especially early on in our riding careers, if you will. And I remember being in one in the middle, and it was like that, very accordant. It was speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down. You're worrying about people in front of you. Some people are
don't know who you're riding
staggers. Some people are riding
the big thing. You don't know who you're
side
riding
by side. But one of the last ones I was actually involved in, which was years ago. We were in the front, right behind the motors guys. Easy peasy.
Exactly.
Because we're right up front, and we led with them, and it was good. Yep. We were not in the middle. So I think
the farther back you get, the more accordion shit you get, right?
Exactly.
In the front, behind the motors, you're in the best position, or all the way in the rear where you can leave some distance between you and the package. You're better off. When you're in the middle, man, it is just a mess. It's a slinky. It's an accordion.
We get rear ends all the time. We get bikes down. Yeah. It's happened a lot.
Yeah, it's not fun being in the middle of a pack of a toy run.
Yep. Like I say, you have a lot of these egos, and they come around, and there gets a little bit of gap in the package. And of course, what do they got to do? Because there's citizens standing out. I'm telling you, I got everybody likes wrapping their pipes and going quick, right? But you got citizens, people come out of their houses, they're filming. I mean, it's impressive. You got 250 bikes.
It's loud. It's loud.
It's people come out of their houses. And of course, what does that do? Encourages people.
Strokes your ego.
It strokes your ego. It encourages those guys that are going to do it to wrap their pipes and get going. Now they're not paying attention. Right. They're looking at the people filming. It's just a shitty situation.
What I would say then, if you're in the middle, is don't let that ego affect you, and have proper falling distance, and don't worry about keeping up and slowing down and doing that. Try to keep a reasonable falling distance.
But don't leave a gap.
We
tell guys that because then cars will cut. We're trying to keep all the cars
it's hard to
off to the side and out of the no-fly zone because we're coming up at 60, 70 miles an hour in the right lane to get up to the next intersection. And you got all these bikes. We can't have anybody in that no-fly zone is what we call it. You hear that in the brief. Yeah. That's the no-fly zone. That's for motors officers, so we can whip up past you. But if you leave a gap, people will try to cross streets.
Yeah. I'm not saying leave a gap, but leave a reasonable falling distance. It's hard to explain in a podcast.
It is.
We're trying to paint a picture.
It's dangerous.
But
no matter how you look at it.
It is dangerous, and realize that you get involved with a 250 bike per session with folks that you've never ridden with. There's some inherent dangers.
Correct. And you'll get guys pull out of the package. And then what we've had recently is guys know the route, Bob, and they're waiting at a certain intersection and they try to jump in, and we're gonna start putting a stop to that. It's hard. It's hard for us because we're so focused on keeping you safe.
Right. What do you do?
It's hard for us to peel off and deal with those guys. So we're gonna start having some more officers and patrol cars and say, hey, there's some guys waiting at so and so. Do not let them get in and ticket them if they do.
Pre-ride. Go a few minutes in front of the package.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's just, that just puts a whole nother, we have so much to think about. It's dangerous for us. Trust me, you want to think I say a prayer and I'm doing one tomorrow. The parade's easy, but because it's a regular parade.
Sure.
Your parade routes where you're doing that's like, my wife knows I get stressed about that stuff because there's so much that can go wrong.
Yep.
Anyways, all right. So let's wrap this up. Yeah, we did that. Okay, good. All right. So daily drills, Bob asked about when I asked him. Let me wrap it up with this. So I tell you the number one drill that is very important is the braking, emergency braking. We already said that up front. Emergency braking is super, super important. What we do, you can do whatever you want. It's difficult to explain on a podcast, but I'll do the best I can. Before I go out, let's just say I'm doing cone work, and I'm doing some drills, or you as a civilian biker who wants to warm up, is before we go into cones or when I'm competing in competitions, most motor officers you'll see go out and we'll do what's called figure eights, or we'll do 360s. Both are kind of the same. They're full bar lock turns. So we're locking our bars and that's hard. That takes a lot of practice. So I'm not telling you have to do that, but whatever tight turn you can do that and work into a bar lock.
It's a lot easier on an electric glide than a road glide.
Yes.
Especially with my handlebars tinted.
It depends on,
forward.
Yes, it depends. Yes, totally.
I got to sit on the gas tank.
Choke up. You have to choke up.
I know you guys can do that.
Correct.
On an electric glide, easier than a road glide because everything seems closer.
Yes. You can do it the same.
Depending on what size you are.
Correct. It's all about choking up, but it doesn't matter. All bikes are the same. It's all clutch, throttle, brake balance. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
You just give me 10 minutes on a bike and I can figure that bike out. I just need 10 minutes on it so I can figure out the clutch, brake, balance, throttle, all that. But yeah, there are bikes that make it a little bit easier to learn, but nonetheless, I can do it on any of those bikes out there. But when I get on them, it takes me a minute because it's a little bit different. So, so that's one of the things is just full bar lock turns and clutch, all that. Do 360s, do figure eights, get warmed up, get the feel of the bike, make sure the bike's not owning you, make sure you're owning the bike, the braking, all that kind of stuff. One of the biggest things you can do, even if you aren't good at full bar lock turns yet, is simple. What I just said is that's clutch and throttle, and that's a slow race. Just get straight and go as slow as you can. You don't have to do a stoppie.
Feathering the clutch.
That's advanced before you stop and lock your bars. Just simply go feather. That's what we call gray area.
Right.
Find that gray area zone where you're just barely moving. You don't have to duck walk. You don't have to put your feet out. And you're just looking at a straight line ahead. Don't look at the ground. Look at a fixed object.
That's important right there.
It is. Head and eyes. Head and eyes. Head and eyes. That's Motors Instructor. I've said that 1,000. Every school. Head and eyes, my new students. Head and eyes, head and eyes. And we hold our hand up. Look here, look here, look here.
Right.
Your bike, just like any snowboarding, wakeboarding, gymnastics, your body will go where your head is. You look at the cone, you'll hit the cone until you get advanced. I can look at cones now and I won't hit them but that takes a long time. At first, do not look. If you look at the fucking cone, that is the cone you'll hit. Matt knows.
Done it.
He went through motor school too.
Oh,
He's like, if you look at the fucking cone, why'd you hit that cone?
Because I looked at it.
Sir, that's what they told me. Yes, sir, because I looked at it, sir.
Because you're going to hit it.
Exactly.
Because it looked tight, so I looked at it, and I hit it, and I went down, and I hurt myself.
Ouch.
Yeah, Matt did get hurt in motor school.
I did.
Matt
didn't finish because I got hurt.
Yeah, he got a good injury. It happens a lot. So
don't look at the cone.
Don't look at the cone.
That's happened to every motorcyclist in a corner where you come in a little hot. You start looking at the guardrail. You start looking at the shoulder.
Look where you want to go.
Oh, exactly.
You'll hit what you look at, I guarantee
I know it. Your bike will go.
That's one certain thing.
Your bike will go where you look, and you have way more traction than you know you have.
Right. Yep. Look through it. Lean through it.
Yep.
Look at where you want to end up.
Yep.
Yeah. Excuse me, Matt.
Oh, that's okay. I'll leave that in because you said excuse
natural.
me.
It's natural.
So it was part of the podcast, so it's going to stay in.
It is, dude. So those are some of the warm-up drills, but that if you're not good at bar locks are advanced. If that a bar lock basically is locking your bars to your tank, and that takes a lot.
Well, you said something there though. You said if you can't do a bar lock, at least do figure eights as tight as you can do it.
Thank you.
For a few things, you're working the head and the eyes, and you're looking where you want to go. You're working the clutch. You're working the brake. You're doing everything that you need to do. At the agency that I work for, especially when I worked on the west side, those guys were always out before they took off for the day. They went out and did a few figure eights. They're grinding off their floorboards, but they were just doing, because that drill in particular, it does everything you need to do.
It lets you feel the bike.
Yeah, you're working your gray area, you're working your balance,
own the bike.
You're looking where you need to go. And they just do a few of those before they took off out of the parking lot every day.
Yep, it's true. It's true. We do it. We have our spots behind local businesses.
Let's go out and do a few
I'll do it right here in the
eights
cul-de-sac. Yeah.
Just warm up. And, okay, my mind's right. I'm ready to go.
Slow race is the best, though. If you can just
good for the gray area.
Yeah,
I'll work on that. I don't do that slow stuff. I do tight corners as tight as I can. I go to a favorite church parking lot of mine, which is flat, and I make sure I'm going, the parking stalls are 18 feet. I've got to turn
nice
in 18 feet, turn 18 feet, turn 18 feet, and I feel
those are good.
I can do
those
a U-turn.
Those angled parking stalls are good. Yeah.
I can do a U-turn anywhere I need to.
Good.
2 up.
Good.
And then I do a fast stop, get up to 30.
Yep.
And slam on the brakes.
Awesome, man. I wish more guys did that. I know we're all busy, but if you
then
could
I
just
go home and pick up my wife or whatever, or, go on about my day. But
right.
That's super important.
It is.
It's a diminishing skills. If you don't do it, you're going to lose it.
Absolutely.
Especially if you have multiple bikes. You need to get proficient at all of your bikes.
And each time you get on a new one, it takes a little bit.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Even though I own them all, you're like just...
I felt goofy as shit when I got on your...
I saw you this morning.
Oh, well,
that clutch lets out really quick.
Oh, your bike in particular, because you have the adjustable clutch. So
and on Tim's, yeah.
But then I got on Tim's, that was a little bit different. But I'm talking a few weeks ago when I got on that Softail. That I hadn't been on a Softail in a long time.
With apes.
Yeah. Well, just not having that fairing in front of me.
Yes.
It felt weird. When you're sitting on a Softail, you don't feel like you have a lot in front of you. You can barely see anything. You just see the bit of the bars and the headlight, and then there's the ground. So it felt short. Right. So it's just every bike. All I'm saying is every bike is a little bit different. You got to spend a little bit of time on them. So if you have multiple bikes like Bob and Ryan, you got different ones, get out there and do that figure eight drill and just kind of get used to the clutch again, get used to the brake, get used to the balance before you head out.
It just becomes more important if you have multiple bikes to just make sure that, you're warming up. It's just part of warming up. You warm up your engine, you got to warm up your skills,
Yep, absolutely.
In my mind.
No, absolutely. You're very right. And it's funny because at Motors, Leo Motors training, we all have the similar bikes, or they're 18s that you can jump on one guy's bike, an 18, and even though it's the same exact bike,
different.
It's just a little different. So you just need a couple minutes to do a couple figure eights, do a slow race, I'll lock the bars, get the clutch, feel everything, and then I got it. I'm good. I just need a couple minutes to feel that bike. They're all different because they're worn different, and so it's funny. Does that slow race make sense as a good drill?
I'm gonna do that.
Does that make sense? Like how I say to do it, like just go
straight
as slow as you can.
Slow as you can. Just let that clutch work, that throttle, and even if you can stop a little bit, that's the best part. Even if you're not like want to get advanced, like I'll turn my bars to the left and lock it, and I'll literally sit there in one spot for like 30 seconds.
I can do that on my mountain bike, but on my...
It's the same concept.
On my $20,000 bike that I really
and I'm not saying
care
do
not
that.
to pick up.
At least just do the slower. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying to the audience. I get it. I get lots of time to practice this.
Do you use all gray area in the slow race, or do you drag a rear brake at all? Or what?
In the slow race?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're using everything.
Yeah.
Brake, balance, clutch, throttle.
That's what I
so
thought.
I'll slow it.
I just wanted you to explain. I asked that because I wanted you to explain a little bit.
Right.
It's not all just clutch.
It's not. It's clutch, brake, balance, throttle. Yep.
Everything. I have some slight retardation in that issue.
Let me tell, dude, most people, even other motors officers, they've seen some of the stuff and they'll email me and go, how do you do I can tell you is like a massive amount of man hours.
Exactly.
Practicing that and getting to where I can, and I still can't do it all the time perfect. It's just, that's not the level you need to be to. You just need to be the straight slow race where you're just going as slow as you can, releasing that clutch and just going as slow as you can without putting your feet down and then letting out a little bit and then pulling back in and working that throttle, looking at a point in the head, looking at a point well ahead of you without touching your feet. And that will just get you the feel. Everything is about the feel of that motor, the feel of that clutch. And if you can get that, everything else about riding that bike whether it's braking or emergency turning or braking, will it just gets you as one with the bike. It's one with. It's a weird. I know it sounds
it doesn't.
Totally stupid, but
no, that's good.
It's like a chi. It's like one. Once I feel one with the bike, I can do anything with the bike.
Zen feeling there.
Straight up, dude.
Right on.
Feel it. Yeah. All right. So that's the daily drills that I would suggest. Anything else as we wrap this up? Oh my God. This has been a great episode, but it's actually only 10:30, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's been 2 hours.
I know. Yeah. It's not bad. You think it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. It's not. Bob, any other like experiences, things you want to get out, things you think is important, the questions you have?
Well, I went and saw Roger Waters. Oh, we already. No,
you didn't see him with Eddie Vedder, though. I'll tell you that.
No, I didn't.
You were, yeah.
No, darn it.
You missed out.
Yeah. You opened my eyes to some to more skills that I need to work on because it's all about getting home.
Absolutely, man.
You know,
we love this lifestyle, but make no
dangerous.
doubt about it. What the lifestyle we've chosen is super dangerous.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'm constantly thinking about things that I hear, you know, little snippets that I hear from you and stuff I pick up from other people on the internet, on YouTube who do safety stuff. And there's a couple of them out there that do weekly.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just literally have zero time to watch that stuff because I'm so busy creating. But
you're out there doing it, bro.
But there are guys doing some of that stuff. That's good. That's good.
There's a couple of them that I watch. One's Jerry Paletti. He puts out a lot of DVDs.
Oh, does he?
And
is he a police motors?
I think he's a retired motors officer.
He may be. And then there's just another guy who is just a random guy who puts out a lot of training videos.
I wish I had more time to do the training stuff here. I just can't focus on it. But when I retire, that's cool that they're doing that though. Good.
Yep. And you know, just you got to get out and get on your bike. And before you go out and ride, you should be doing some sort of a warm-up drill. You know, you need to be doing some bar lock turns if you can do that.
Feel that clutch.
And I do that. I go up and down or back and forth around the, go up the parking lot, going through the white or the parking lines that are 18 feet apart.
Yep. Those are great.
Back and forth. I go up and then I come down at 30 miles an hour and stop as hard as I can.
Right.
Go back up, come back down. I do that like 3 times and then I go ride.
Yep.
If possible.
And you got a touring bike. Is it a big deal, Bob, if you drop your bike? It's not a big deal. It's crash bars. That's what they're for.
Well, I added the saddlebag crash bars after I dropped it in my driveway.
Correct.
And I've only dropped my bike 3 times, so
I don't care if you dropped it 10. If you're not dropping your bike, you ain't learning. And I tell people that. I tell my motors officers that it's not a big deal. You got saddlebag crash bars. Just drop it. Get over it.
They didn't come on the road glide.
My street glide didn't come with it either. I put them on
after I trashed one of my bags.
Oh yeah. Put those on. I agree.
They're on.
Yep, I agree.
Anyhow, you need to get out and
get
practice.
over it though, right?
Yeah.
I have to tell even our motors officers to this day. I'm like, if you don't drop your bike. If you tell me you've never dropped on your bike, then you've never practiced. Like you aren't pushing yourself. Like you're a horrible rider. You should drop your bike. It's okay. And I get it's different with the wide glide and different stuff like that without crash bars, you know. But if you have a touring bike with crash bars and saddlebag, my God, I've dropped that street glide a ton. Who cares?
Right.
Get over it.
Yep.
It drops on the crash bars and you pick it up and you practice again. Big deal.
Yep.
It's hard for people. It's a mental thing, right?
It's a mental thing.
Sure. Get over your ego.
It's
drop it.
A financial thing.
But crash bars don't get hurt.
Right.
That's what they're for. But
and there's ways to get around that too. If you don't add crash bars to the rear bike, take your saddlebags off.
Right.
If you're worried about scratching the chrome, you can take garden hose.
Fire hose. We have guys that come to motor school departments. They put fire hose on it.
We used garden hose. We just cut it and zip tied it to the bars so you wouldn't scratch up the bars.
Honestly, when you
there's
drop
things you can do.
Yeah, when you drop your bike, our police bikes, look at all of them. You won't even know they've been dropped tons of times.
Yeah, you don't see it.
It's on the very
down
where
the
bar
inside.
Who cares? Yeah. And I get it. Guys just go. I used to be that way a long time ago. You're like, oh, you dropped your bike, dude. You got to get over that stuff and practice. And most of the time it's just barely dropping it. You lay it over and you pick it back up and you ride on, and nobody even knows you dropped it.
Yeah, the damage to my saddlebag was done trying to pick it up 3 times and not being able to, and
there's a technique to
laying
that?
it back down.
Right.
I know the technique.
Right. No, that's good. Yeah, right. You just want to get up fast.
Yeah, before anyone sees you.
Yeah. See, I agree.
Shit.
If you drop it enough, you'll get over that. I've dropped it enough. I don't care. But yeah, no, and I get it. That's a biker thing. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yep.
Just get over that, you know?
Yep.
It's okay to drop your bike on the crash bars. That's why they're called crash bars. They'll protect it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Lurch.
They're there for a reason.
They're there for a reason. They'll scratch the little bottom of it and you'll be good to go. Yep. And you'll learn something.
Get the full
from
value
why you
out of your
dropped
bike.
it. Exactly.
There you go.
Harleys. If you saw the new students coming through our motorcycle police schools and the way I've done some vlogs on that, if you saw the way they drop their bikes, you realize how tough Harleys are.
Oh yeah.
They will not break.
Right.
They're insanely tough.
People underestimate the strength of a Harley Davidson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys do jumps.
They do hills. They do, yeah.
You jump off curbs, no problem.
We do curbs. We drive up curbs, off curbs.
Yep.
Yeah, they're pretty much indestructible.
Things I would never think of doing. Your Harley will do just fine.
It will.
I might have taken Brian's bike off a curb today.
I saw that.
Did you see that?
In my rearview mirror. Partial
Get
curb.
a little crossed up.
It was my fault because I didn't either. Well, it was one of two things. Either I didn't leave enough room to do the U-turn, or I was a little. It's because my bike has apes on it. That his bike has this stock handlebars, and I can't quite get them turned tight enough because of the way those buckhorn handlebars are. So that's what I think it was. I don't think I gave myself enough room, or I thought I could turn those handlebars tighter.
Right.
The stock bars I can't because of my size and how I'm built. I couldn't quite get it tight enough, and I went.
He's a 7-foot man.
I'm a 7-foot man. And I went.
Committed. No,
I'm not going to make it, but it's an ultra, so it sits a little bit higher. So I just went off the curb. You saw that?
I saw it. I was laughing. I was like, "Good for you, Lurch."
I knew I could do it.
You take it off.
So
I knew I could do it.
It hurts me a lot when I walk into the ceiling fan.
We haven't played this in a while.
Small people say I wish I was him, but it's been 9 years since I've had a trim. The barber said I can't reach the top of his head.
Oh, good times. All right, guys, last call. If you want to wrap anything up, this I've been waiting to do for a long time. This is going to be evergreen content we can refer people to. So
cool.
Thanks, Bob, for forcing me. I had an extremely busy week and worked overtime and family stuff and trying to do show notes. Thanks for forcing me to even spend more of my time pumping these notes out. I appreciate it.
Cool.
Because I've been thinking them in my head for a long time, and it just forced me at the coffee shop to just get done.
Right on.
Anything else?
I'm good.
Well, that would mean that music, Bob, is a cue that we're done. Pablo Calcerado, who is a patron member, made this music for us. The intro and the outro.
It's original.
Original.
Right on.
Straight up for the Law Abiding Biker podcast. So that's the kind of beginning. We got Bob Dawson, who sitting here, professional painter, painted the complete inside and outside of the studio for free, gave his time and his company. And then we got guys like Pablo making free, he's a guitar player.
That's awesome.
Making free music for us.
Yeah.
I mean, it all helps. It's all just, which is why I play this so much, because it's just like, it's a part of the community, man. And I love to get shout outs to everybody in the community that helped support us.
Great song.
And he's a patron too. Yeah, it is a great song. He did a really good job. So, all right, Lurch, you want to finish up with a call to action?
You want to support us?
All about this?
I do, because I support LAB by using this. So this is an Amazon affiliate. So you want to support us, Bikeaholics? Where is the #1 online market you get almost everything from? Duh, it's Amazon. So the easy peasy thing to do is you can go on Amazon, click through our affiliate links, look through the banner,
lawabidingbiker.com/Amazon.
Biker.com/Amazon. And bookmark that bastard so that you got it up in your bookmarks. Hit it every time you hit that bookmark and you go to Amazon, we get a little taste. costs nothing extra for you, but we get a little something on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what are you doing? You got your mouth way up there. You want mine even closer?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
mine sounds good. Trust me. I do the audio. I know what's going on there.
Producer right there.
Trust me. So
Professional.
No additional cost to you. We get a little commission on each sale. Bookmark it on your web browser now.
Doesn't matter, guys, what you buy. Of course, there we get a small kickback. Lurch often shops for pink panties for theme night.
Yep.
And it really doesn't matter. We don't look at what
household.
We don't have any way to look at what you actually buy. We just know we get a small commission. So if you want to buy kinky stuff like Lurch does,
car parts, motorcycle parts,
we can't
panties,
track
whatever.
It. Right. Bob, I don't know.
Taste.
He orders some weird stuff I've heard, but I can't track it. I don't want to track it.
It doesn't
probably cause an investigation.
Doesn't cost me anything. It puts back into the gas tank.
Yeah. Love it, Bob. Hey, Bob, thanks for doing 2 episodes back to back. We did one live. We did one completely recorded, but it's been an honor having you here in the studio.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate being invited out here. It's been a pleasure.
We'll have to get you on more.
Cool.
If you ever come up, and I tell patrons this, especially local or people that travel through, if you ever come up with a subject that you think is relevant to the law-abiding biker community, it's something you want to get out there, please hit me up, because we'll have you right back over. Cool. And we'll do some show notes and we'll talk about it. Yeah, that simple. Love talking to other people outside lab, even just because we get a different perspective and we get to ask you a lot of questions that we don't normally get to ask the regular guys that are involved in it. So
right.
Absolutely awesome, guys. We are out of here. I hope you're well. I definitely hope you are out there getting some riding in.
Route like a trout.